5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is another podcast, I guess. I don't know if you can tell, but we're all getting a bit tired. It's Christmas time and work, and so it's not the same energy as I was on furlough and doing nothing. So, basically, today we're gonna discuss a multitude of topics. The first of which is something that was basically inspired by another podcast I watched, which I'll link in the description. Basically, where he was talking about, do rappers need to do what they talk about? And then I've kind of twisted that idea because you take it to the extreme. And the thing I want to talk about is there any boundaries in music? Because it's art. So
Sam's in the background there.
Yeah.
You could definitely hear it. You could definitely hear it. But it's fine.
Not trying to do a professional podcast or anything. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Mike's nailed the intro as well, so we can't start again.
Yeah, we can't really go again. Sorry, boys. Fuck.
Cheers for that. Basically, I want to talk about if there's any boundaries in music or in art in particular, because obviously people are quick to throw dirt on people, basically fiction in hip hop and music in general. But when it's acted out in a movie, it's okay because that's a movie. It's not real. But obviously a lot of hip hop and art isn't real. So that's why I asked you two to listen to horrorcore and the shit I sent you. Mainly like Tyler the Creator, because Tyler came up on horrorcore saying some fucked up shit. But that was like an alter ego. So like especially I want to talk with you two because I feel like you two will have a differing opinion on, to me in particular, because I'm very like loose to it because I grew up listening to it. So I'm just kind of like, well, it's fiction, it's not real. But I also see the downside of it, which we can talk about, which I'm sure you two will bring up. So what is your, obviously listen to the horrorcore that I sent them that. So what's your opinions on it? Like, do you think it's too far, or do you think it's, what do you think?
I just don't like it. just don't like it. That's the
It's quite a bit to take on board when you hear it. It's not that I dislike it. And you know what? Like, I'd probably listen to it, but you'd have to catch me in like a really particular mood to be vibing with that heavily.
Not just like a Monday night.
like
a Monday night trying to unwind from work.
Yeah, trying to do some meal prep and then hearing Tyler talk about how he had a threesome
with a pregnant
because
bitch.
he had sex with a pregnant lady. That's a bit much for a Monday evening.
Yeah, I hear you. Like obviously like that does bring like a massive amount of heat with it, because what you're saying is so controversial. So like that's why my argument has always been, it is purely music. So obviously there's a counter argument that it desensitizes people to it and it can almost glorify it, which I completely understand. But then my argument is, again, you would have to have a blanket ban across all arts, because anything can be seen to glorify it. Because what they're trying to do in hip hop, although you can't see it visually, is they're basically bringing out the role of this sick and twisted individual doing some fucked up shit and highlighting the bad stuff they do. But because it's not so graphic in the sense that you can't see it visually, it can be seen as glorified. So for example, a guy on a track talks about raping a woman. Now that is not as hard to watch or listen to as if you were to see that on screen. That would be, because the other thing I thought of is that movie Scum that I was watching, 1979, with Ray Winston in prison and that. And they've got like very graphic scenes of rape and suicide. And it's really hard to watch. But when I hear someone like Tyler say it, it's not as hard. So therefore you can kind of desensitize you and kind of, you just hear it and it bypasses the filter, if that makes sense, of like, whoa, what the fuck? So
great, yeah, I get you with the normalization in that sense.
I definitely feel like it does, because for me,
just slips in.
Hearing that it still takes me by surprise, and I'm like, oh shit, that's quite wild. I don't know if I enjoyed that, and I know that if I were to see it happen or like it was animated or whatever, I would probably enjoy it just as like. I'd probably not enjoy it as much. Yeah, I'd absolutely love it if it was animated. Do you know what?
That's it. But yeah, I get you with that. Like, I don't know why seeing that in the context of a film, it doesn't make it easier to watch, but it. I don't know, man. This is crazy deep.
It is.
Wow.
It's a topic.
Bloody hell.
It's a topic that's hard to talk about, especially for me as a white male. I'm like the least marginalized person in the world. So like, as a 6'3" white male, like these things most likely won't happen to me. A lot of these things that they rap about or you see on movies, like it just won't happen. So, it's definitely an opinion for me, which is obviously like I can only take into account others and what they take into opinion, because I can't personally, like we always talk about, like, you know, I can't really relate to it because it doesn't happen. So like I understand, like obviously like with trigger warnings and such nowadays as well, you could say it could possibly go too far, people who listen to it and get set off. But again, that's the same argument for me with that would be it happens across all art. But the issue is obviously in movies, it comes with like an age restriction and like you kind of have an idea of what's going on. Whereas in music, all you have is explicit parental advisory. You don't know what's about to come up. So I don't know. It's a weird one because obviously with it's weird because like with me, I'm currently writing a tune like that, and I in the slightest don't ever get those thoughts really ever. Like who does? Like that's some fucked up shit. So it is entirely fiction, but some people who are less perceptive.
But is it not some people's actual reality? Like that's how some people genuinely, they've got like sick and twisted minds.
This is what I'm saying. Some people who, as well, people who are less perspective, they can't understand the fact that it is fiction. They might take it as reality. So they can't get a grasp on the fact that this is more about portraying a role as a villain than it is, you know, relaying my reality. Because people always say music is a reflection of reality. When some of it is, yes, but that's art as a reflection of reality. Everything's a reflection of reality to an extent that everything that you say happens unless you're science fiction. You know what I mean? So, it's a real iffy one. That's why I really wanted to discuss it, because obviously it's just something that popped into my mind because obviously I love Tyler and I think his character arc and growth as an artist has been nothing short of spectacular. In the sense,
with your tune, how would you feel about putting like a trigger warning at the start of your tune, or just in the description of it?
I think that's what I do. Is I think if you listen to Radicals by Tyler, at the start he's like, random disclaimer, everything I say in this track is fucking fiction, so if anything happens, don't blame me, white America.
But he doesn't take it seriously. He doesn't
take it seriously. That's an absolute piss take, warning, isn't it? It's not a real warning.
But at the same time, it is still a warning to an extent that something fucked up is going to come on. So if you can do it by taking a piss, you still know something fucked up's going to happen. So
yeah, I guess.
You could listen to that as a teenager and think, oh yeah, this is still kind of fun. I'm just going to carry on listening to it because it's funny to me, not take what he's saying seriously.
So this is it. Yeah,
separating what he's saying from what actually happens and what is people's actual reality.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. It's a bit. It's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. This is the thing, right? Is that again, like people have a right to express themselves upon art and tell stories and do whatever, but I think when it gets really really iffy, it's when it's not so obviously reality. And that's not so obviously fake. So they're actually trying to portray themselves properly as these things. So like, I can't think of like an example off the top of my head really, because like I said, I've literally it popped into my head when I was in the shower earlier. So I haven't had much time to think about it. But like, so for example, with Eminem, who has said some of the most fucked up shit over the years, and he's made a tune about graphically killing his wife. That obviously is fiction because his wife isn't dead. Do you know what I mean? Like that's, and that's what that's so obviously not true. But like, say for example, you had a real life murderer who did it and actually was portraying what he did. That's a bit fucked up because it's not fiction, that's reality. So I think it's
but like, where do you draw the line between it like being obviously fiction and then like for new listeners then taking that on board and thinking, oh wow, this is like what people do? Like, where do you draw the line? How can you tell when enough is enough and it's gone too far?
That is a good question. I
think, it shouldn't be up to the listener to have to then look at the backstory of this person to see whether or not what they're saying is true or not, because that then defeats the purpose of what the artist is doing.
That is true. I don't know. I just feel like it's weird. Like, so for example, in drill, to bring back to drill, because drill is, again, you could almost argue drill's fucking horrorcore, the way that they talk about what they do and what's actually happened. And they talk about, praying to the devil and stuff. The thing is, people actually think that's normal. So like, they think people are banging judge and praying to the devil in order to blow up. So people might actually look into that because they say it in such a real way. They're mixing it in with real fact. Whereas people who make these fucking crazy tunes, none of it's real, like none of it. But whereas if they say that they did something and then, which everyone knows is a fact, and then they say they did this, that people are going to start assuming, okay, that's factual. But
okay, to counter that point though, like we talked about Dance with the Devil by More Technique, I to this day have not looked into that, and I've just assumed that story is completely true.
Yeah.
Is it?
No.
Well, but that's the point I'm making.
Here's the thing is, I actually don't know if it is true or not. That's the fucked up thing, is I don't actually know if it's true. So
like, as a 17-year-old hearing that song for the first time, my mind was blown, but also I was absolutely mortified. And to this day, I'm still like, I don't know if that's true or not.
Horrible,
but here's the thing though, is that like, even if it is true, right? That is so graphic, and he does it in a sense. He explains it in a sense that it's fucked up. He shows the bad side of it, and he constantly goes to remind us about how fucked up they are. So when they're talking about the shit at the end, when he's talking about how those dirty bastards know exactly what they're doing, and he talks about like the consequence and everything. So I think it's like I said, it's a very difficult topic, because obviously it's the same as making a really, really controversial film. It's just, you're going to get people who think it's just art, and then some people who think it's a little bit too far. Where, but like this is why
it's not that complicated in that sense, man. It's people either think it's art, or people don't subscribe to it and dislike it. That is literally black and white. It's like
that's what I think. Is I think personally, if you don't like it, just don't listen to it. But like I said, the issue is obviously people listening to it for the first time could get upset by it or whatever. So it's just that first initial thing. But for me, like for example, when I was younger, it was a weird one, because I knew Tyler from like Bastard days, but I didn't like him because of what he was saying. I didn't understand it. I was like, why is he saying this? This isn't hip hop. This is just fucked up. But I was like, there's no skill to this. But then you realize that when he's portraying a fucked up thing as well, is to generate buzz. So it's definitely a thing where people can do it, especially to grab attention. So for example, if someone says a semi decent punchline compared to rape a pregnant bitch and tell my friends I had a threesome, which one are you going to talk about more? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like you have a license to be completely fiction in music, but obviously there is the flip side that it can offend so many people who have gone through it. It's a very, very, very tricky situation. So for me, when
I feel like this, sorry, mate, I don't want to keep cutting you off, but like I feel like there still is responsibility from the artist.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tyler can make excuses to say he was young, but he still had an audience at that time where, you still got a bit of responsibility as to what your words are going to do.
Yeah.
And if you're not thinking about it and you're just putting out horrible stuff, maybe he was kind of thinking about it a little bit, but he's not doing anything really. Yeah. It's how he behaved. It's not. He's not helping anything. No.
Yeah, I hear that, and I think as well. I think certain things are off limits as well. So when we talk about boundaries, certain things are off limits. So like we said as well, it's not like I said in the last podcast of cancel culture. It's freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence. So certain things, obviously, like hate speech, that should be off limits, or off limits to a sense where you really face the consequences for it. Like you're completely done out here, and your whole name and family should be tarnished. You know what I mean? Like, everything should be done for you if you're out here spreading hate speech. But like for me, when I've been very careful personally when I was writing this, because I don't want to talk about something that can be too graphic. But so, for example, I mainly talk about, in the first verse anyway, talk about like I spoke to my friend about this. It's very inspired by Jeffrey Dahmer. You know Jeffrey Dahmer, that guy who used to kill people and take off their heads and try and create zombies. That's because that's like, while that has happened, it's like it's so obvious I'm not doing that. Like, it's so obvious. But whereas if I was to make a tune, right, and it's complete fiction obviously, but like I was to say like about how say what Tyler did, so you talk about raping women and doing whatever, that is not so obviously fiction. So I think nowadays it's with, obviously, unless you want to be really controversial, you got to be very careful in what you're saying. To go back to your point about where do you draw the line? Well, I'm obviously not keeping human heads and waving goodbye to them and killing therapists and doing whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's because I'd be very quickly arrested, because there'd be a massive amount of murders. Do you know what I mean? It'd be on the news. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so like I think, sorry, I don't want to like try and monologue this because it's a bit weird, but yeah, like I just think it's obviously people who are sensitive to it. Like, it sounds really, really horrible, but don't listen to it. It's the most horrible. Like, I don't think you can take away the person's right to do it, and obviously they can face consequences. Tyler got banned from the UK for 5 years, but like it's you can't stop someone doing it. You know, like you can't stop someone making a horror movie, or you can't stop someone drawing a picture of someone murdering someone. You know what I mean? It's just like a case of like, if you think you're going to be affected, just completely steer clear of it, in my opinion, and just let them do what they want.
Yeah, and I think more artists should have been clearer with what they're saying, and put trigger warning on your track if it's gonna
fuck people up.
It's gonna fuck people up.
I think as well, like especially with, I think this is why introductions on tracks are so important, because it sets the scene. So I'll just run through an example of mine. I'm talking to a therapist, and he tells me that I'm okay or whatever, and I'm clear to go. But then like I switch into my alter ego, so to speak. You know, like in Split, I switch his fucking mind's easy. And then I just end up killing the therapist, and that's before the actual music starts. But that's so obvious then that this tune's going to be dark as fuck. So at that point, that's not going to trigger anyone. But if they don't want to hear it, then they can turn it off. You know what I mean? So
yeah. It's also it's quite clear that's fictional, surely, as well.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not here killing a therapist on the microphone. You know what I mean? I haven't got a therapist in my room, and I'm on this microphone stabbing him directly in front of me. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, as well.
Just to play devil's advocate there, though, like, we know Mike, and it's easy for us to say, Mike's not a murderer. It is so easy from an inside perspective to just be like, we all know that's a lie. But if you're just a random bloke, who's to say Mike isn't a fucking murderer?
To be fair, there are some people who get their kicks from that. They get their kicks.
There are some people that would just look at you and be like, this guy could be absolutely fucking insane, and Mike killed that bloke. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that. Look at Luca Magnotta, the guy who used to kill cats and put it on the fucking internet and do whatever.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Like, there are some people that get some fucked up kicks out of it. I do hear that. So I think like, things like that. I think there should be a little disclaimer nowadays, at least. I think back in the day, you didn't have to worry about it so much because no one gave a shit. Like, because that was just, the world was a very insensitive place then, and it was a lot less filtered down, and obviously the world's become a better place and people are more considerate towards others now. So I think I think it's probably important to put a little disclaimer on there. Maybe on the cover art, just like this is fucking fiction. That might be my cover art for it. Just this is all lies. But yeah, no, I hear that. But yeah, it's just something that I feel like it's a topic that needs to be discussed. That doesn't get discussed enough because it's obviously a sensitive topic. So like people, I like, and you know, that's me. I'm Mr. Fucking kick the door down on sensitivity, and I'll just discuss it. I don't give a shit. So yeah, so basically what we're agreeing is that you have to just make it clear that your art is fiction, and then it's okay. Which I can agree with, because like, just look at fucking what is it, YNW Melly, where he talks about murder on his mind, and he's actually murdered 2 of his mates. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's not great.
It's tough. Yeah, tough
on his part.
There. Yeah, he really. Yeah,
not really thought on through. I don't know if talking graphically about murdering people that you know is the smartest way of not getting caught for those murders.
Yeah, for one, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think as well. It's the main thing I learned with horrorcore, writing it, is it's a really fun way of getting out your aggression. Like that is the best way, because you can stretch the like realms of reality for you, and you can talk about shit that you wouldn't do. It's like, I don't know. It's just like all your aggression and anger towards something can all come out. But like, again, like if my family members are listening to this, don't listen to the tune, because I don't want you to hear it. Like it's the type of thing. It's the type of thing you don't want people to hear. That like, you wouldn't want your mum to hear it, but your mates, you go around fucking fly kicking people to it. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of stuff. So yeah. So anyway, so we'll move on from the sensitive topic, because obviously
that was heavy, man.
It's heavy.
Was that a plug? Low key, was that a plug?
Yeah, low key it was. But everyone needs to basically what I don't know if people can notice this, right? But throughout the podcast, what I do is I drop hints and get ideas, because I'll do something in my music and I'll think, can I get away with that? Can I do this? What do I do here? And I'll ask someone the topic. So so I bring it up on here to get an opinion, and it's basically just a cheat sheet for me to get ideas from people.
Fair play. That's fine.
You use you used it like what you got at your disposal. So
we've just got to start giving you dead ideas now.
Yeah, like, why don't you start rapping about the Dustbin Men on a Monday morning, mate? True.
And also,
that's quite lit.
Do you know, I found a loophole as well, around, you know, on the last podcast I said this is going to feed nicely into the next topic we want to talk about, but on the last podcast I said when the mixtape drops, I'm done with music. The loophole around it is I'm just not going to drop the mixtape, because I'm just going to call it something else. So the reason why I decided this is because Spotify Wrapped came around, right?
He's done it again.
What's that?
Bloody done it again.
Yeah, of course I have. But Spotify Wrapped came around, right? And so, and I had so many people messaging me saying, "Oh, your tune's on my top 100 most played." And like my mate Miles Mozza, I was his 3rd most played tune, and like that's fucking crazy to me. And that, like, again, kickstarted my inspiration towards it, because I was like, people like, I always just assume people like listen to my music, but they don't really listen to it, if that makes sense. So like they'll hear it once and say, "Oh yeah, whatever," give your opinion on it, and then just never listen to it again. But to see people that are actually listening to it so much that it's in their top 100s or top 5 most played songs, that's fucking crazy to me, because that's no longer like just being a friend. That's actually genuinely listening to my music. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's fucking dope. I need to keep doing this because people are actually enjoying it. So yeah, so
good, man.
So yeah, that really inspired me, and I decided to scrap the current project that I had, because I was like, you know what, I don't want to make music that people want me to make. That's my thing, is I don't like it. That's why I messaged you lot the other day, and I was like, I'm making this horrorcore tune to prove that I'm versatile. It's mainly because as soon as people expect me to do something, so I've dropped that punk tune, people liked it and want me to make more punk, I'm not going to do it. I hate doing what people expect of me because I'm such an asshole and I have to be different. I have to.
That seems like a really backward way of pleasing the audience.
Just trying to make music.
You know what? You enjoyed that. Fuck you. I'm onto something new. And if you don't like
I really
that,
enjoyed your R&B tune.
I'll make more of that.
Should make more R&B.
People love the drill stuff I started doing, bro. I had 4 drill tunes for the album, and I said, nah, I don't want to do drill. Bro, it is what it is. Right?
I really hated that country track that you made, mate.
Oh, stop making country music. Bro.
Yeah, country music's fucking terrible. Stop making it, mate. God.
Well, no, funny story, right? I saw it on my Snap Memories. I was freestyle. I was doing like a tune, and this is a couple of years ago, and basically I fucked up and I freestyled it into proper country singing, and I was like, I just fucked up. I don't know what I'm saying, but I just don't give a fuck. And it was fucking dead weird. And I was like, I am never doing that ever. I'll just make an Old Town. What I'll do now is next tune will be Old Town Road remix.
I'd love to see it.
I'm gonna take my horse. But yeah,
2021 Spotify Wrapped.
Number 1 most played.
Done.
Yeah. So talking about Spotify Wrapped, how did you two find your Spotify Wrapped? Because mine was fucking shocking. I and I mean that in the actual sense of I was surprised at my Spotify Wrapped. How was yours?
I'll let you go first, Luke.
Yeah, I compared my one from this year to my one from my playlist from last year, and I was way cooler last year than I was this year. I don't know why. I was sick last year.
I was so much less depressed last year than I was this year.
Maybe I don't know. It was just huge regression from. I was listening to such cool stuff last year. I was just back to like what I was listening to when I was in A levels, whatever.
Well, that was 2020 though.
Super regressive.
I made us all go back and listen to the old shit because we just wanted to be comfortable because everyone was so depressed.
Yeah. Like 4 out of the 5 artists were just stuff that I've listened to probably in like 2016.
Mine was the other way around. That was the weird part. But Shiv, what about you? Because you obviously said on the last podcast you were new to Spotify, so it'd be interesting.
Yeah. So I was like, I must have had Spotify for like a month before Wrapped came out last year. So like it's pretty useless. Yeah. Pretty redundant. But yeah, like just it was quite interesting to see that I discovered a load of new artists, and that's just from like a handful of people that I'd listened to before, and then it kind of Spotify itself helps you like delve into new artists that are similar to what you like, and that was good. I was quite surprised with my top 5 artists, in fairness. Like, must have been. Do you know what? Let me have a look. I think it was
J Huss number 1.
J Huss, yeah.
J Huss is number 1, and like I genuinely didn't feel like I listened to that much J Huss this year, but also like I'm not going to argue with it because it's banging. Also, didn't feel like I listened to that much Skepta. So
yeah.
I had J Huss, The Weeknd, Skepta, Kate Renard, and Abra, and Kate Renard, The Weeknd, and Abra. Yeah, fair enough. But J Huss and Skepta, I was quite surprised by. I don't know if it's just because a lot of the songs that I listened to had Skepta features on them, or like what it was. But yeah, I was surprised to see how it came out. I'm glad that Abra made an appearance. I also think it might have just been one day in the summer where I listened to "In Your Eyes" by The Weeknd like 30 times. That really got him in my top 3.
Fair play,
yeah.
We all have those days, you know.
Yeah.
I think mine is genuinely the most shocking because I had so many people messaging me like, "What the fuck is going on with yours?" So my number 1 for the first time ever wasn't Kanye West. It was Arctic Monkeys. Now,
yes, that's so rogue.
I am not a fan of the Arctic Monkeys. I will not come out here and say I'm a fan of Arctic Monkeys. I'm a fan of one of their albums and I quite like another one. But I listened to whatever the fuck. This is the worst part. Is whatever they say I am, that's what I'm not. Whatever. I can't remember the first name of it. But I listened to it so much because it was after I made.
You got it right there. You got it spot on. You did get it spot on. The super fan.
Well, yeah, I'm actually a massive stan. But no, I listened to that album so much on repeat because it was just after my punk tune dropped, and I really fucking loved it. Like I just thought it was, and I had this mentality at the time of when it was like. we were just coming out of lockdown and everything was so fucked up, and you listen to it and it is literally just like teenage rebel music, and that's the mentality I had at the time. So I listened to it loads and loads. Now, number 2 is AM, which is a drill rapper, which is funny because Arctic Monkeys was on number 1 and people call them AM, which is fucking surprising. But they had a mixtape drop earlier this year, which I loved. AM and Skangdo, they're not a group. They were both in my top 5, which shows that I just listened to their tape loads. Somehow Skangdo was number 5 though, and AM was 2, and then 3 was Kid Cudi, of course, and 4 was Kanye West. Like, they had to be in there. But what shocked me the most wasn't the artist, it was the songs, right? My most played song of the year is I'm Not Okay by My Chemical Romance, which was number 2. Number 2, I'm not shocked at, was me. I listened to my but the worst part is
sick.
Those plays don't even count towards my Spotify because it's linked to my account. So it's the same way if you go on SoundCloud and drop something and listen to it over and over, it doesn't count. So I got no revenue for listening to myself, which is fucked up. But then it's Dear Maria, Count Me In by All Time Low. Yeah,
I feel like you're talking to me as like Sam when she was like 16.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like. That's what I feel like you're talking to me as.
Then,
just my 16-year-old girlfriend.
Then we had Tramp by T-Way, which is a fucking, for me, my favorite drill song of all time. It's different. And then When the Sun Goes Down by Arctic Monkeys, and that fills up my top 5. And then even if we go lower, right, we got Surely by Noncevelli, who's number 6. But because this is before I knew he was a nonce, right? This is before that. It was a banging tune. And Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Erase Me by Kid Cudi, which is just a banger. From Ritz to Rebel by the Arctic Monkeys. Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force. Teenagers by My Chemical Romance. Now here's the worst one. Stitches by Shawn Mendes.
To be fair, that slaps. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even trying to lie that.
Why were you listening to Shawn Mendes?
Because, bro, when I go to sleep, I don't listen to heavy drill music. I have to find like
Shawn Mendes, man.
Bro, there's this Heartbreak playlist, right? And it's just got some bangers on there. I'm surprised there's not more, but it's more some Evanescence, and then we finally get into hip hop.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
This is so rogue.
Wow. Who are you, man?
So, do you want to know why it was? Because obviously I listen to a lot more music than I used to. I have 2 playlists, and I have my main hip hop, because hip hop was my UK hip hop was my number 1, and all like hip hop music, drill, and all that was my top 5 most played genres. And the reason why these songs are in my top 1 is because I have a rock playlist which only has about 20 songs on it, because they're like the only rock songs I really like. But I went for a stage where that's all I listened to. So those would be on repeat and they get right to the top. Whereas my drill and hip hop playlist has 500 odd songs in it. So the bottom. So yeah, like fucking, that was just a crazy thing to see. And then I also have my Spotify Rap for Artists, which when you compare it to other people, obviously isn't great. But for me, it was growth on the year before, which is good, like 800% growth. And also I found out that the country that I was most loved in was Germany. So
Guten Tag.
I know. It's all been a bit crazy on Spotify Rap. But
you know what really got me about the Wrapped was that I listened to music so much less than everyone else, seemingly. I listened to 9,213 minutes in comparison to like everyone else I know listening to like over like 50,000 minutes.
Fawaz had like 200,000.
Yeah, but okay, I'm vetoing Fawaz because he doesn't have a point in his day where Google's not like fucking playing something. Like the boys will have the flat just empty and probably still have music playing.
Yeah.
You know what? There's 140 days of music.
Yeah, I think
straight music.
Some people listen to music, but they don't listen to music. They just have it on as a background noise. Like
sometimes I'd have to go into his room and turn it off because it's like playing. I'm like, what's that noise? Why is both of them have gone out? And he's just got the fucking Google Home.
It makes no sense. For me, I don't understand how someone can physically listen to that much music and have a productive life. Like that's the thing. It's
a good question. It's a good question.
How are you at work listening to that much? Like how can you actually physically do that? Or like I don't know. For some people's Spotify Wraps are just crazy, and it just makes you think: did you just press play and just leave your phone on the side for a whole year? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
just big shuffle.
The one thing I wish they did in Spotify Wrapped is like your top 5, like not like, I don't want to sound like a hipster here, but your top 5 like underground artists, like the ones that people don't really listen to. I know it's quite hard to work that one out, but like I wish.
They kind of do that when they say you are like one of very few people to have listened to this song.
Yeah,
like,
before 50K.
You know when it comes up with a little headphone picture
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it says that you are one of very few people to have found this track or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I guess that kind of
highlights. Your one for that?
Do you know what? I'm gonna. How can I find it? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, I've got onto. Mine was the Orioles, which is like
I don't know
old people music basically, but it's old funky people music.
Do you know what? Let me find it. How do I? Well, let me see.
You go down a bit on the homepage, and it's still all there.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work out.
Yeah, that stuff makes me feel so cool when it tells me, we're gonna get cancer. Oh, why you got music on?
Sorry, mate. That was a bit of heady one. Just came out of nowhere. I'm just trying to find my thing.
Okay.
Give us a second, gents. Here we go. I am a pioneer. I listened to Stack Doe Roundtree remix before it hit 50,000 streams.
Who's the Stack Doe Roundtree?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's exactly worthless. Okay.
Do you know what? I'll give it a listen tonight and let you know whether or not it was actually worth it.
What if it's horrorcore and you've just you're just a massive hypocrite?
I doubt it, because until today, I don't think horrorcore was ever on my Spotify.
No.
Amazing.
I had to ask Mike if I was listening to the right thing. I searched the horrorcore playlist and said,
I knew what he was going to drag
Suicide Boys and that. Suicide Boys and that.
Yeah.
Powerful. It's just suicides. But yeah, right. So we'll take a break and then we'll continue this conversation, I think.
So
just palm it off the fact that it's about to run out. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Right. I'll see you in a bit. That's going to get zoomed in on. Right. See you in a bit. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, we're back, and to continue the topic of Spotify Wrapped and music we listen to, I thought for next year a bit of a prediction. So, like for example, literally only a week or so ago, I found a guy called We Want Race. And he is genuinely, for me, I'm marking this now. He is going to blow up in the UK over the next year. He's just literally, after I found him, he's just done something with Kenny All-Star. And he is going to get big. And like, he is already slightly big in the sense that his songs have like 800K and 1 million streams on them, but he has like no social media presence. Like, he only has like 1,000 followers. So like, I don't know whether they were TikTok songs or whatever. But yeah, I found him just randomly on SoundCloud, and bro, he's a beast, like different beast. So I think he's probably going to be in my top 5 next year, hopefully, because I don't wish ill on anyone. I'm going to be in my top 5 next year. I can guarantee.
It's going to blow up.
Yeah, we manifest that. We manifest that.
No, but I'm going to be in my top 5 because I will drop a project within the next year, and I will listen to it so much I'll be in my top 5. I can almost guarantee it. Like, people are like, it's weird, right? Because I remember when I was younger, they were interviewing Gigs, and they're like, "Gigs, what do you listen to when you're driving?" And he was like, "Me. I listen to my own tunes." And I never understood it until I made my own music. And then it's like, yeah, you listen to you because you make music that you think is good. Like, you make it because you enjoy it. And so when you hear it back, you're like, oh, this is a sick tune because I made it and I know exactly what I want to hear. So yeah, it's a weird one.
We need like a Gigs self-help book in that sense. If you live your life by Gigs, you'll just feel sick all the time. You just
the one person that was missing from mine, which I hope he drops a project this year, Santan Dave. Like, again, this is the thing, right? Is I have been saying for years, I need to, if I'm not a musician, if I'm not an artist in a label, I need to be an A&R, because I have found so many artists before they blew up. One being Santan Dave. This one is going to be We Want Race. Little Tekka, I found the song Ransom before it blew up. You know, the fucking Dave East.
What was that?
I don't know. Dave East. I found Dave East before he blew up and got signed to Nas, bro. I am wicked at finding artists.
How early do you have to find Dave to like say that you've found him before he blew up?
Like just before his Black Box came out. So when he was like 16, 17.
When did that happen?
That was when I was in college. Maybe just a little bit before. Yeah, I remember listening to his Black Box because he did it over No Apologies by Eminem.
So the Drake feature was the blow up. That was the blow up.
That was a blow up. Yeah.
Okay.
So that came out on 6 Paths, and actually no, I'd even say before that he had a little blow up when he dropped. What's the song that Drake's on? The man wanna send for me, envy and jealousy.
I can remember
right back at them. Oh my god, what is it? What the fuck is that?
Remember the album go?
It's called 6 Paths. It's called 6 Paths, the album.
Yeah.
Or the EP, and he had a little blow up with Picture Me, which is on the same one. And he obviously had his SB stuff, and he shot an SB warm up session at the same place as Jay Huss did his. I think they did it on the same day. So they've really come up together, them two. Jay Huss is another one I found I wouldn't even say before he really blew up, because I found him when Den Boy Pagan came out. So I mean, and that was his blow up.
Slow Tie was the only one I can claim, because I was listening to him when he was in the basement. Yeah. 2,000 streams was there.
Isaiah Dreads as well.
Oh yeah, my mate Kieran knows Isaiah Dreads.
Bro, he can rap fast.
He can rap fast. Yeah.
I'll tell you else who's going to come up this year. Ocean Wisdom. He'll come up this year.
Is he not already come up?
Not really.
Is that project not respected? Why is it not respected?
I think it is, but it's not commercially respected.
It's on FIFA, man. It's on FIFA.
That doesn't make it commercial.
Tom and Jerry was on FIFA. Yeah.
Now the people that I wish blow down this year and don't stick about. And I don't care if I blow up as an artist and these people hate me and we just start going back and forth, because I don't think they're good. And most people will think I'm going to say someone like H, but I think H is a very good rapper. Very good rapper. He's very talented, but I just hate the fact that he's loved by Fiat 500 Twitter. But anyway, I hate it. They've ruined H for me. But yeah, so Dutch Valley is the obvious one. He needs to go. He really needs to go. I think he's so overrated. Another overrated artist that I can think of off the top of my head is Actually, we'll do this in a circle. Everyone go around. So I think of another overrated artist.
Oh, wow, fuck. You've really sprung that.
You put me on the spot. Fuck. Let me have a think. Shit.
Who don't I like? Why? I don't listen to people I don't like.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I don't really listen to music that I don't like.
But so not people that.
It's like I called out the other day. Harry Styles.
Nah, mate. Shut up. Right. You're both.
Joking.
I'm having none of that.
He makes decent pop music. That's it.
He makes enjoyable pop music.
Yeah.
I hope Jammer goes. Jammer needs to fuck off. Jammer needs to go. Jammer's another one. He's seen as a grime scene legend, but I've watched so many videos of him back in the day of like his beef with Criminal and that. He needs to go. Someone else who needs to go is, well, not so much, but he needs to get less respected as an MC. Stormzy.
I don't know.
Ooh, that's a spicy
yeah. He needs
one.
to. Because he's still a good MC, but he makes gospel music now.
He's not a good MC. He's not. I'm sorry. He used to be. Nowadays, he does.
Wiley Flow is a good song.
It is a good song. It is a good song, but also about a part of being an MC, or it's, in our culture anyway, is about your ability to actually clash. And we've been through it before about him and Chip. I want Chip to go as seen as the greatest grime scene artist of all time this year. I want him to drop his mixtape and everyone see him as a GOAT, because he is the GOAT. Another artist that I can't stand, let me just think off the top of my head. A lot of drill artists. I want people to stop over hyping drill. this year, because people think drill and drill punchlines are really good. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy drill, but I think that people overhype a drill rapper when they say the same thing that everyone else says, and they have shit punchlines. So I think that like this year, people need to recognize that drill rappers aren't good rappers at all. They aren't. You get the very few that are good. Like honestly,
we also
everything.
So we also just pray that Wes Nelson doesn't blow up anymore and just sticks to influencing.
Yeah, fuck Wes Nelson.
Okay.
Let's just hope that.
Seems like a really nice guy, but like also just like
sticks to influencing.
The thing is he a nice guy? Because didn't he like cheat on someone in the Love Island house?
Mate, it's Love Island.
It's Love Island. It's not a real thing.
Hey man, if he does it on live TV, he's gonna do it in real when it's not on TV. So I doubt he is a nice
Either
person.
way, all I'm saying is let's stop giving influence. Let's stop allowing influencers to use their platforms to
KSI
their way into music
to make themselves more.
Yeah, do you know what? KSI.
That is what I was thinking of. People need to stop listening to his music. The fact that he got the top 20 or whatever it was is a disgrace. He is not a good rapper. Yes, it was a good song, but not because of him. He's like the DJ Khaled of hip hop. He spits 8 bars and lets the features control. He needs to stay the fuck off of music. I understand people can do what they want, but please stop overhyping him. Everyone needs to stop.
Oh, I've got another one actually. When I think about it, and I mean this with no disrespect because I love the guy, but Idris Elba needs to stick to just producing and mixing and sticking to acting.
DJ, go ahead.
Don't feature on a beat, mate, please. Don't rap, and then don't do some like random like African like accent. We all know how you sound, you know.
Yeah, I know it's more like a dancehall sound, wasn't it? It's more like a.
I don't know. He puts an accent on, and I don't like it because I know him as Luther.
Yeah, I'm literally watching Luther upstairs right now.
Yeah,
I'm a massive Idris Elba fan.
Huge.
Please don't rap on tunes. Please don't rap on tunes.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Stop Idris.
People who aren't from the culture. I know people might say, "Mike, you're not from the culture. What you on about?"
We're not from the culture.
But like,
me and Shiv are definitely not from the culture.
No, I'm not in the culture, mate.
This is the thing, right? It's like yeah, I don't appear that I'm in a hip hop culture, but I grew up listening to it, and it's like my one love. So maybe I can get away with it a little bit doing it. But people who KSI, right? This is what irks me. Him and Mini Mint are both. They. Like I don't adopt slang, right? I don't do it because if it doesn't sound right coming from my voice, and it's just I'm not from Jamaica. I don't have any family from Jamaica, so why the fuck would I go around saying things are getting cluttered off and rah rah rah? Because, bro, that's not me, right? So these two, KSI and Mini Minter, they are privately educated in Hertfordshire or wherever it is, bro, and they act like they're from fucking Brixton. And they talk like they're from Brixton, and they force the slang so much that it's like, bro, this is so dead. This is so dead. And people need to say something to them. Everyone needs to say something. Just stop.
I think the problem is everything that you could have said to them has already been said, and now they're still unbelievably successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can't just fail hustle.
Mini Winter is famous because of KSI. He's literally just ridden his coattails the entire way.
People that are like that though.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like for me, like they just annoy me. I can't hear them speak. Like Mini Minter, if you're somehow watching this, I will pay you $5,000 to let me clean punch you in the face, just clean, and then I can stop it because you are a bellend. I hate you, and like honestly,
this is fiction. This is fiction, man.
It's not fiction. I know how this guy talks. I know how he talks. So when he wants to sound urban, bro, he starts mispronouncing words on purpose, forcing it. But what's wrong with you, man? Stop it. Stop it. You're worse than Chris Martin.
Wow, that's so serious.
I'm actually getting angry talking about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Don't mind them.
Let's go back to artists blowing up. I want to see Unknown P on more people's top 5. That guy.
Unknown P. Fuck that guy.
Unknown P, the poshest drill rapper. Yes.
that annoys me. That Unknown P annoys me. His comedy in general was very funny, but that Unknown P stuff is really annoying. He's just, I don't know.
He's got bars. He's got
bars.
He does have bars. I will give him that. He does have bars. I give him that. But he does annoy me. But yeah, he does have some special bars. But yeah, like the one thing that does annoy me though is that, like, so what happens is you get these parody rappers come in from the UK, and then the Americans come in and take it as like what's the word?
Got it. So,
it does kind of discredit the scene a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like Big Shaq, and they're like, oh, Big Shaq is like the biggest UK rapper, and it's like, well, he's not a UK rapper, he's a comedian.
Didn't he have a number one? Like, realistically, he was the biggest. If we're talking
about numbers, at one point in time, if we're talking numbers, he was, yeah.
I mean, I've seen Big Shaq live as well. He came out of Wireless and did a thing, and I was just like, bro, what the fuck is going on? I love Michael Dapper though, and you got to wish him.
Yeah, shout out. He's hilarious.
He's such hilarious. A funny guy.
He went so far with that. But and we all took it seriously. We all didn't take it seriously, but we all got behind it.
Yeah, because it's just supporting a guy from the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, like Americans take it way too seriously, and they think they can't, because Americans can't work out sarcasm. They can't work out jokes. There's something wrong with Americans. They're not wired right in their head. I'll tell you someone else who does need to blow up, and I always send these videos into our group chat, and that's MB Bance, whatever he's called. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's the guy who does the Y.M Stizzy. Oh, you skunked! And yeah, that guy is a fucking legend. He's so funny. He needs to, in 2021. He needs to really come up, and that's not an artist. That's just talking about Michael Dapper, and it's reminded me that everyone needs to go check out his videos and stuff, because he is differently funny.
Luke, who is it that you see coming into your top 5 this year? Then
I want to say first and foremost that I hate the 1975 on to blow down.
yes. No, fuck. Well, you need to say that.
I've been waiting for this.
Fuck Matt Healy, big time, because he does shit. Like, it's that thing. You remember when he went to Dubai and he kissed a fan on the show and ran off. He had no problem with it, but the fan would have gotten deep shit because that's illegal there. So he's fine doing that, but he is a bellend, and I understand he used to be a fucking heroin addict or whatever, but he's had a very privileged lifestyle in the sense that he grew up to rich family, and he just projects. I don't know. He's just a bellend. He just is a bellend.
It's not even that. The music is dead.
Yeah, I wasn't going that deep into it. I was just like, I don't enjoy this pop music. I have my guilty pleasures when it comes to pop music. Yeah. Harry Styles. 1975 has never been anywhere near in and around my headphones ever.
Fucking waiting room music, man.
The other thing they did as well is I think it's when they did there was a worldwide crisis, and what they did is it was like set. I think it was the wildfires in Australia, and it was like stop the wildfire, and instead of a link to the charity, they just linked their music.
Mike's got
a hard plug.
Receipts, man. Mike's got the receipts.
Bro, I got so many receipts. Sorry.
Okay,
we also asked David Guetta. Wait. One more for me. David Guetta needs to blow down purely because of his George Floyd tribute.
What?
Like, it was. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but like, I don't know how he thinks he's helping anything by just doing a skyline set in New York, and then just on top of the track, he's like, I made this track for George Floyd. And it's just like snippets of Martin Luther King speaking from the famous speech. And then he's like, rest in peace, George. Love and prayers to your family. And I'm like, really nice sentiment. But this song,
really nice sentiment,
this
actually.
song doesn't need to, you didn't need to do this. You could have just said that.
Was it still EDM?
Yeah.
Nah.
He could have
can't commemorate something to EDM.
Could have donate it to a fund or something like that. But
yeah. I just wasn't a fan.
Well,
like,
he probably did it for charity.
Yeah, maybe. All right, maybe I'll take that one back. But either way, I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, anyone who capitalizes off of a crisis or a atrocity needs to die. Anyone who uses
you said it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming into my Spotify top 5. I was saying to Mike, hopefully Parsley and SL in there.
Parsley, music video of the year. this year.
Probably Oreos as well, because still got to do my soft boy shit. That's about it. That's the three I'd like to see in there, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make it happen.
I feel as if the way that this year of Spotify has already started for me, Her is going to be making an appearance, a strong appearance, and I feel like my top song will probably be Hard Place. I've just been vibing to that in the shower a lot recently. It's a nice way to get my morning started. I'm enjoying just vocalizing. Also, would like to see Abra higher up next year. Parsolu also like to see it in there this coming year. A lot of good music that way.
J1.
There's this guy
J1
called.
needs to go.
Sorry, shit.
Holy shit. You brought
Holy shit.
And I just thought of Coventry. J1 needs to go. J1 needs to go. J1. I've got no real beef with J1. I don't know. His music's catchy. I can dig it. He's the worst rapper in the music scene.
I don't know that one.
He's the worst rapper in the whole scene. He is the worst. I'm sorry. He needs to go. Sorry, that I had to cut in them because it just popped in my head. But yeah.
Go back to my final person would be this rapper called Normani. Like, is this UK? Like, he's got this song called Sherlock Holmes, and it slaps, and the music video slaps, and yeah, I fuck with that. So yeah. Go check it out if you get a second.
Also, my mate, other two artists, obviously Mike.
Yeah, Mike, obviously.
And either one of my friends that do music, Paddy Manning, shout out Paddy Manning, or Rob's brother Colf. Well, he is Colf, but yeah, Colf.
That's what I would like to have all my friends in my top 5 that make music, but they just don't release enough music. That's the issue. So if you are my friend and you make music, release more music. So yeah, another one I want to see in my top 5 is Turismo Dave.
Big up, Selector.
Gotta come back.
I don't know in what form. Should we do like a storybook? I think we could do a storybook.
A storybook?
What do you mean?
Like a pop-up book of Turismo Dave.
Oh, the story. Oh, yeah. Do you know what that could sell? That could sell in kids like schools and shit. Each kid has to learn. They have to be able to learn
school gear.
You know when you used to read those books of like Biff and Chip and all that shit. Yeah. We're the equivalent now that they just supply schools with for learning how to read.
Monopolize the education market.
Yeah, learn geography by reloading with Turismo Dave.
Yeah. I like it.
So to move away from music now, and to go back on to predictions for 2021, what is your 2 real goals for 2021? Like, what is it you want to achieve? Like, I'll say mine. Mine's obviously produce a project properly, move out from my mum's, whether that's it'd be renting, but I just want to move out, and then just actually be in a solid job. If not, obviously, music grind's impossible. So within the next year, you're not really going to go viral to the point where you can quit your job. So just in a solid job as well. So that's like my real goal for 2021 is just to be productive as possible, and like just be completely independent from my mum because being 23 living at home is hard.
Yeah.
So what about you two?
For that, Luke.
Okay, cool. I think just keep grinding with the job, keep saving and that. Yeah.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, Luke's an engineer basically, and he's smart as fuck.
Yeehaw.
So, like, for anyone who can't tell, he is the smartest one out of the 3 of us. He is fucking. He does some crazy maths.
I don't know. Nah. We've all done crazy maths. You're an economist.
Yeah, but engineering's different, bro. Engineering's different.
Yeah, like as much as I want to big up my uni degree, you did engineering. Like that's stress. You worked stress. 7 days a week. I didn't work 7 days a week.
It was a big stress.
I probably worked seven days total in 4 years.
Yeah, fair. Nice.
But yeah, just keep trying to get fit. Mm-hmm. Keep running. Go back to the gym. Sort out my diet. get a rig.
Yes.
For the mental more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
For the positive vibes.
I like how that's not on my goals at all. I just know it's not happening. I don't set it.
You don't need a rig to be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to learn it. I want to learn a language. I've been trying to learn Italian for like 2 years. I've never actually put it down. Never actually.
Prego.
Allora.
And that.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. For me, similar lines to you guys, really. Towards the end of the year, anyway, I'd like to be looking or be in a position to look at starting the process of buying my own place. That's where I want to be. I would like to be like relatively established and quite comfortable with what I do barroom wise, like bringing in new clients, because they've seen that what I do is good. Get my shit together, like fitness wise, like get back on the running. I've been so slack with it since lockdown ended, and since I moved back up to Edinburgh more than anything. I've been lazy.
It's cold, man. It's cold.
It is cold. There's so many takeaways available.
So hilly there. It's hard to inspire yourself to run because you're constantly running up hills.
Yeah, it's true. It is true, but I know I've got it in me. So yeah, more time just focusing on like eating clean, being healthy. It's all good for the mental at the end of the day. Like, we don't want to regress, get ourselves into bad ways, you know. Keep moving forward. More than anything, that's it. Just keep everything moving forward. No stagnation for 2021.
Yeah, as Drake says, more life.
Yeah, I think that's the key for everyone in this year, especially with such a shit year this year. And I know it's only going to get worse, right? So, like, obviously, you got to set yourself realistic goals because this next year is going to be fucking horrific. But yeah, I think just the key really is just to keep moving forward, like Kid Cudi said. Keep it like but yeah, so fucking just if everyone sets realistic targets that can't really be affected by outside circumstances. Like some people might be like, for 2021 I want to go traveling and do whatever. That's out of your hands whether you can do that. Do you know what I mean? So I think the key is just to set yourself a realistic target and something that is so achievable that when you achieve it, it makes you feel better. So for
self-growth and all that. Yeah,
you set yourself small targets, and when you achieve it, eventually, you feel a sense of pride. So for as well, the other one I want to do is actually be able to make this podcast bigger and just grow it. You know, get a couple thousand views and
because we enjoy it, man. We definitely do.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, you go.
So I'm so opinionated to this point where, like, you know, I don't care. You know what I mean? So this is good for me because I especially when it comes to social media, when I want to try and outlet my views, you can't explain yourself properly. Like you can't. So all my views, even if they might be a bit controversial at times, they don't have ill intent. Whereas if you try and explain yourself on social media, it can come across with ill intent. So it's a good way to actually get things off your mind and discuss things. And it's just great fun for it. But like I said, the main aim for this is to grow it to the point where we can all actually come together and not have to do it over Zoom. And
that's what I was going to say. That would one day being able to do it in person would be quite sick.
It'd be awesome.
Like even if Luke's down south, I mean, I want to move back up to Edinburgh. That's my main one. When I say I want to move up from Mall, I want to move back up to Edinburgh in 2021. But like even if it's a case of fucking meeting Luke halfway if he's still down south and just go once a week meeting up. Like,
hopefully I'll be up frequently anyway.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like obviously that's an unrealistic goal because that's out, like I said, that is out of our hands. That's down to people supporting it and enjoying what we do. We'll talk about what we talk about, and if people enjoy it, obviously it grows, and if not, it doesn't. That's out of our hands. So it's not a goal which I'm dependent on. It's the same way I don't set a goal to be like, I want to get this amount of plays in my music or whatever, or grow, because that's out of my hands. I just want to do it. You know what I mean? That is in my control. And like everything
we can do.
Everything in life, you have to do things that are in your control and make everything about your control. Motivational speech.
Damn. I'm motivated now. I'm gonna.
And also,
good for you, Mike.
The other thing, if you want to go do something this is at the risk of sounding sensitive because obviously I think everyone's been there themselves. But if you're feeling down and you want to go do something, you need to basically stop feeling sorry for yourself and go do it because it will make you better. You know, it's hard. It's the hardest thing you'll do, but you have to go do it because you'll struggle, but the feeling, the feeling you get afterwards, you have to go do it. So anyone this year, especially in 2020, a lot of people just feel so down because we've been cooped up inside for so long that if you want to have a goal, don't just put it off because you don't feel up to it today. Go do it. Just say fuck it, and you know what I mean. So
yeah, don't feel down when you don't achieve what you do. Just keep plugging away.
Yeah, you have to just
don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah, just keep plugging away.
Mike, your motivational speech reminded me of another goal of mine that I had, and that is to try new foods and stop being so fussy.
Yeah. Cool. What are you gonna try?
I want to venture into fish. I like seafood, like that's cool, but fish I'm a bit iffy with. I would like to start eating more fish. Should be a little bit more adventurous with what I eat. Vegetable-wise as well, you know?
Yeah. What kinds of fish, man?
I'm thinking like bass, a sea bass. Also,
when people talk about bass, yeah, go for it.
Whole fishes like scare me a little bit, but also really willing to try. Try some new vegetables, maybe some artichoke. I don't know.
You've not tried artichoke?
I feel like I have when I was a child, and it really put me off it. And
that's the most middle class thing I've said on this podcast. You've not tried artichoke?
what? This is where people understand, right? That I'm not what people might perceive of me in the sense that I don't even know what artichoke is.
Artichoke's a vegetable. Yeah, it's kind of got like a bit of a point in shape like that. You eat the hearts, is what it's called. Artichoke hearts.
It's like a big asparagus.
Yeah, it is like a big asparagus end.
Yes.
The tip of the asparagus.
Bro,
I'm assuming you know what asparagus is, right?
Yeah, I don't really eat it.
Nah. Asparagus makes me smell, so like I try and avoid that unless I'm eating like a fancy dinner. So.
Does an all pea smell?
Well, it makes it smell worse. I don't know what it is about asparagus, but it makes it smell a bit worse. We'll move on from this.
yeah. Please stand with. Because I can't even join in this conversation, bro. Honestly, like I don't know why. I don't know if people think like what
vegetables do you like, Mike?
I like the trees, and I like the little green balls.
I don't know. I'm assuming broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Oh, peas.
I like sprouts. Anything that's green, I'll eat. Right? People say eat greens. I agree. Any vegetable that isn't green, I don't really like. I only like my greens.
Wow, hot take. Wow. Very hot take.
Yeah. Honestly, I only ever eat greens. That's just the only thing I eat.
Damn, we're really getting to the real questions here, man.
Oh, Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean vegetables aren't my forte. Fancy food isn't my forte. I grew up eating pasta and cheese, and I'm not joking on that. That's all I used to eat. I don't know why. I just don't. I'm not a fancy person.
What kind of pasta?
Oh, penne, of course.
That's not that fancy. No, that's not fancy. It's not fancy.
Exactly, bro. I'm not out eating tagliatelle.
Penne is your bog standard go-to pasta.
Yeah, penne. If you eat fusilli, don't talk to me. You're dead to me.
Although in fairness, fusilli gets the most coverage for sauce, so I kind of fuck with that.
Yeah, but then when you eat the penne, you get the sauce that goes inside of the penne, and then when you bite it, it comes out and squirts in your mouth. And I love things squirting in my mouth.
Nice.
I'm not even gonna say no homo. So yeah, basically, we're waffling. We are big time waffling, but there is other stuff. There is other stuff we want to talk about. There's a little bit. It's just a little bit of stuff in the news. A little bit of less less musical stuff. So this is what's going to happen basically from now on. Is we're going to end up going from music and then just waffling down to the point where we just start talking about stuff that's happened.
Oh yeah.
So but there's only so much music you can talk about, especially when people aren't really producing music at the moment. There's not really nothing coming out.
Maybe the name of the podcast should change to the Wafflehouse.
Whoa.
Food for thought.
That's a heck of an idea for Shiv. Wow. I really like that.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Wafflehouse. It's all changing. It's all changing. I'm changing every single name. We are the Wafflehouse from here on out.
I've got my waffle T-shirt ordered, man. My waffle machine is in the post, bro. Jeez. Change the game right here. Change the game. we need Fo to. I think Fo will like it.
I'm sure he'd love it.
This is my decision.
Oh God!
Apologies for just dropping that bombshell on you, lads.
Yo, shit! You didn't have to do that to us, man. Wow. Change the game.
Well, I have been called a game changer in my time.
Maverick.
Shout out, Mist. Talking about Mavericks, in the next section, there is someone I want to talk about to do with a self-proclaimed Maverick.
Do you want to take a break and then we'll do that for you?
We'll talk about it because, bro, that's something that needs to be discussed because what the fuck is going on with this world? Right. So, yeah, right. We'll take a quick break and then it'll probably be our last section for today, the next one. But yeah, so we'll see you in a second. Is this going to be our thing now? We're just going to start doing dance moves on the way out.
I'm not even very good at it. I don't know what I'm doing now.
Right, in a bit.
Yeah, come on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, we're back for the final segment. There's a couple of things that we want to talk about in the real world. Basically, the first one being Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. That's just been announced in an exhibition boxing match. Now, I understand financially why they're doing this. Like, there's a big bag to be had here, and Floyd's a money man. But logistically, it doesn't work. Logan is a 6'3" cruiserweight, and Floyd is, 5'9", 5'10", push. And he fought a welterweight was, I think, the highest he fought at. I don't think he went up to middleweight. I'm not too sure. But how the fuck does that work logistically? Like, it's just going to be an absolute shit show of an event, surely.
Yeah, it's going to be Floyd throwing punches that feel like nothing on Logan, and Logan swinging as hard as he can to land one on Floyd, and
which he won't be able to.
A single punch. It's going to be basically Floyd wins on points, but no one really sees anything exciting.
Yeah, or Logan gasses out, and I can't even see that happening. To be fair, but
Floyd I can see him getting gassed out. I can see him getting gassed out, but I can't see Floyd having the power to knock out a man that's 6'3" and like probably another 20 kilos heavier than him.
I don't know, bro. He knocked out the Big Show, so.
True, actually, so true.
Was that with knuckle dusters?
Yeah, just
they cheated anyway, man. Cheated.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I just think it's just a load of bollocks. It's basically what's going to happen is you may as well just go watch Floyd Mayweather punching a heavy bag. So that's all it's going to be.
Yeah, literally, that's all it is.
Like a heavy bag that swings back and he just boxes. You're facing someone who can't really box and lost to KSI against the greatest defensive boxer of all time. He's not going to land a punch. Like,
yeah, it would be different if he was like fighting someone that could actually fight. Like, that makes things interesting.
You know what? If he was fighting Jake Paul, although Jake Paul would lose still, that would be more interesting than Logan because Jake is a better boxer. Jake's more his size and is a better boxer than him. And I think I can't stand Jake Paul. I think he's a bellend, but he is a good boxer. And I understand he knocked Nate Robinson out. He was supposed to knock Nate Robinson out. He's very disrespectful in what he's doing afterwards. That's what he's doing and making memes about. That's not combat sports. You don't do that. You be respectful.
We just watched Izzy and Adesanya. We watched that.
Yeah, you can't really.
I mean, your man was disrespect to him before, but the memes are definitely rife.
Also, humping the man whilst he's
yeah,
knocked out.
yeah,
That's pretty mad.
But also, I don't know, man. Is he does that because Paulo Costa was an asshole? And
Nate wasn't an asshole.
Nate wasn't an asshole. He's a boxer. He's not a fighter, and he's not a boxer. He's a basketball player. He's not a fighter. So to meme a guy who you should have knocked out and take the piss out of him, it's like, bro, it's like punching a small child and then making fun of the small child, saying, "No, I'm such a big man. I knocked out a small child." No, you're not.
Yeah, there's no bet. Just take your dub, man.
Yeah, just take your peas and fuck off. So yeah,
Nate should posterize him to get back in.
Yeah, that's the only way you should do it. It's just face 1-on-1.
Have a basket. Yeah, have a basket wheeling around nearby Jake Paul. Run up on him.
Yeah. And Nate Robinson's such a good guy. I feel so sorry for him. So yeah.
Yeah, but also he could be as good a guy as he wants, but he willingly chose that fight knowing he was going to get knocked the fuck out.
I guess so. Like, he probably got so much peas. He probably got more than like his last few seasons of basketball for that one fight.
I guess. Probably did. But for reputation-wise, you're either taking an L or you're just walking away without that money. And for me, I think I'd rather not have that money.
Yeah.
Real? Bro, I'll take those peas all day.
Yeah. It's not like he's poor.
True.
Would I get knocked out by Jake Paul for money?
No, you couldn't pay me shit to do
Jake Paul couldn't knock me out. I'm hard as fuck.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I would battle both of them, but I don't know. It's a real question, man. That's a real question.
That's a question. Would you guys be knocked out by Jake Paul for peas? That's a question. I mean, do you have that little dignity like me that you get knocked out for peas? I mean, I would. I mean, do you know how much studio time you could get with that? But a house, bro. You're living, bro. Plus, you can capitalize off the fact that you got knocked out and are a meme because you're the most still really talked about. So you can capitalize off of that.
I'm sold. I'm
sold on that. I'm doing that. I'm getting knocked the fuck out. Jake, if you want
to
knock
you out for money, I'll knock Jake Paul out for even more.
You know what, Jake Paul? Give me 12 months and I'll train and I'll knock you the fuck out. I'm sure how unfit I'd be.
If there's offers on the table, I will knock you out for more money. Yes.
Yes. That's the mindset. That's the mindset Nate Robinson needed. Yeah. That's why he lost. That's all the analysis we need to do on that. That's it.
We spoke about that one in the past, but basically what it is now is it's the same as influencers getting into music. Stop getting into I don't want to sound don't do what you don't want to do, but don't brand yourself as a professional athlete because you're not a professional athlete, bro. You're a YouTuber. Yeah. Like that's insulting to the people who have grinded since they were 6 years old to become a professional athlete.
To do what they want.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's the same, mate. It's the same with KSI. The reason why I can't stand KSI making music is because I've been doing it for 6 years, haven't really budged at all, and he makes FIFA videos and then gets in a top 20 hit he's awful at music. It's jealousy over anything, really. I think, but I mean, I think everyone can say they get jealous and do whatever. Like, no one's out here saying, "Oh, fucking," I don't get jealous over it. And people do, and that's where hate has come from. Like, obviously, like I hate his music generally because I think it's shit, but I don't hate on the fact of what he does on YouTube because that's how he made his peas and that's how he grind his ass off for that. But he hasn't done it in music. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a weird one. Like Logan Paul, you're not a professional athlete. You could have been a wrestler or whatever. You could have been a professional athlete. He's apparently good. Jake Paul isn't a professional athlete. You're not. I'm sorry, bro. You made a diss song on your brother on YouTube, and it blew up. You know what I mean? So, like, at the end of the day, stop calling out Conor McGregor and these people that have spent their whole life fighting to be where they are because they will eat you alive because they are actual professional athletes who this is their living, this is their day job.
Yeah. Like you can understand.
Go ahead. Shiv.
You can understand the McGregor calling out Mayweather because McGregor really helped UFC take off and was the champ. Like that's fair enough.
He was the king of
the sport fighting a king of another sport. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We all knew that Conor was going to lose, and that's fine because it's not in his domain. You see Floyd coming into the octagon. We all know that Conor's winning that, but like we understand the concepts. But trying to call out the best of the best when you are just a YouTuber makes no sense. It really makes no sense.
I feel like it's also those two. Well, it's the best people in the sport's responsibility to kind of hold the integrity of the sport. Mm-hmm. And when you're taking fights from YouTubers, like, what are you doing for boxing? Are you saying that if you want, you can make YouTube chat videos for 5 years, do 2 years of boxing training, and then you can fight the best in the world? Like, surely it's down to those champions to hold the integrity of the sport.
Yeah, 100%.
I said this before. I said if they want to do proper influencer boxing or whatever, and they want to prove they're the best influencer fighter or whatever, go fight Vidal Riley. Don't go fight fucking Floyd Mayweather, because I understand that's more P's. And do you know what? There might not even be more P's in fighting Floyd than there is Vidal, because most of the money there is going to come from Logan, because people who are boxing fans are going to go, fuck, why the fuck am I watching Floyd? Because Floyd fought over in Japan on that expedition. No one watched that. So it's going to be the YouTuber fans that are paying to watch it. It's not going to be the other way around. So go have an influencer fight. If you want to prove you're that good, go fight an actual professional boxer who also got his name, who got his professional thing that he's been grafting for years, through the off chance of being an influencer. That's not to take anything away from Vidal, because Vidal is a fucking incredible boxer and he did it his whole life, but he got that break his foot in the door because of an influencer. So that makes more sense to me. I don't understand how. I understand that, like I said, from a business standpoint, from an integrity of the sport one, I can't. I mean, for example, you can say it's going to get more kids into the sport or whatever, but at this point,
that's how I've just thought about it. That's just how I've thought about it. It's definitely going to increase exposure.
But I think at this point it isn't, because KSI Logan, but everyone's seen Logan fight, so all of Logan's fans know about him. And Floyd is just the biggest boxer. People are going to know about him already. So it's not even going to bring that much more exposure to it. I think this fight will sell less than KSI Logan.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, like,
I think people might just want to watch it just to see.
Yeah, the spectacle, mate. It's actually
just to see Floyd clown this guy that thinks he can fight him, you know? Like, just to watch fucking Logan get bitched about, and people will be like, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be well funny to watch. Let's buy the pay-per-view."
But what's gonna happen?
It might end. It might end that stuff. It might end the celebrity.
Yeah,
really. Exactly. It just shows how much for weak a contest it is.
This whole thing is ridiculous. Like, the one thing I will say though is that this is the only sport they can do it in, because you can't get like an influencer onto a team sport, because then no one's going to pick them up. You know what I mean? Do you remember there was that time when they were going to say Usain Bolt was going to join United, and like, that's an athlete, right? That's an athlete going on trial, and they were like, he's not good enough. He's just quick. He's not a good. So if you could try,
he plays A-League now, doesn't he?
He had a trial there and he quit.
Oh, did he quit?
He scored
a few goals. Yeah, he scored a few goals. I suppose deadly on a counter, I guess. When he's hanging about the halfway line, he just zip a ball.
I mean, to be fair, if you put any normal person against an A-League keeper 1-on-1, I mean, they might score.
Yeah.
I mean, you add like a world record on his sprint time.
Yeah.
It's just really not great football, the A-League. Like, a mate of mine that my brother went to school with went out there, and like, just a random club asked him to, like, pay him to play like as a semi-pro, and he was never anything special here. So it's like, kind of says a lot about the standards.
Yeah, I mean, European, I think outside of like American football and basketball, European sports are the standard for it. And it's just the two games that Americans made are the ones they're best at, which is not surprising. But outside of that, it's just Europe dominates sports. Except combat.
Asia's lit at some sport, man. We need to shout them out for some of the racket sports, bro.
Chinese are crazy at that. Yeah. the fucking ping pong and oh my god, yeah, that's crazy.
Badminton, Malaysia, badminton, wild. Tell me, trust me now, trust me.
Can't say I watch badminton all that often, to be honest.
I watch the Olympics.
Yeah.
Badminton's actually a wild sport because they're just hitting this thing so hard, and then all of a sudden it just stops, and you're like, shit, I thought I was going to get way further, and they're like, oh, I need to get closer to that now.
So yeah.
Also, put some respect on squash.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Big man did squash at school.
Big man too.
And also cricket, Asia are quite good at. So
yeah, shut up, my boys.
Yeah.
Shiv, here's a question. Now, because obviously you were born in England, grew up in England, right? Because you would have the choice between playing for England and India. Because you were good. Everyone doesn't know Shiv was a very good cricketer. Which one would you choose? Because I don't know much about cricket. Would you play for England or India?
Probably England. I feel like it would be probably slightly easier to get into it in England as well, just purely because you're not competing against 1 billion people.
Yeah, good point.
Like, just like demographics wise, it would be easier to get into an English side. But also, I think growing up here and stuff,
yeah,
I feel more. What's the word? I would choose England. Is what I'm saying.
You feel more close. Yeah, I mean, especially if you went over to play for India, they'd probably be speaking Gujarati and that. And
I mean, as much as I understand that, that wouldn't get me very far because I'd just have to like give them the old pigeon English back.
just hand signals. Yeah. So yeah,
like, to be fair, like Kenya would have been like the easiest one for me to get into, considering my dad was born in Kenya and my granddad played for Kenya. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
that would have been the easiest access.
That's the one thing I always wonder is obviously with people that were born in England, but obviously have grandparents and parents that were born from outside of England, which one would they be more likely to perform for? Would it be the country you're born and raised in, or would it be the one where your ancestors grew up? And I
think it all depends on your personal love for each country. Also, it kind of depends on which country is the better at the sport at the time.
Yeah.
Like you'll see people
playing for England
that choose to play for England because they're the better team, but like Ben Stokes, for example, was born in New Zealand, but like would much rather play for England because England are the better team. Or like Kevin Peterson got rejected from South Africa and then came and played for England, like that kind of thing. So it's all down to like the individual story, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for my St. Kitts and Nevis rugby call up. If anybody knows anybody in the St. Kitts and Nevis Rugby Federation, hit me up. I'm available.
Anyone from Malta that wants me to go play football, bro, I'll go do it, man. I'll play for the Maltese national team. But yeah, I think like especially footballers nowadays. This will lead us on to the next topic I want to talk about. But footballers nowadays. So for example, Raheem Sterling, who's Jamaican, he gets a lot of flack for not choosing Jamaica to play for, and people like Bukayo Saka gets flack for choosing England over Nigeria. But realistically, I don't understand why people have the right to criticize what country people want to play for. Like,
no, it's completely that individual's choice and no one else's. Like, and at the end of the day, people are more likely to go wherever the bag is as well. Like, and that's just the realistic factor of it. Like, you're not going to go play for Jamaica, who barely make any appearances in like national tournaments and worldwide tournaments, when you can get a big fat paycheck from England and and play in major tournaments and make a name for yourself.
How sick would it be though if they all just binned off England and? Like,
it'd
be interesting to see how good we'd actually be. Because
still be it. I think England would still be
okay,
decent. Still be decent.
But it's obviously it all depends on. I mean, I don't know the England setup, and I don't know who was born where or whatever. I don't understand that, so obviously I can't comment on what players would be going and what ones wouldn't. So I think
Rashford's family was St. Kitts. Shout out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, like obviously you don't. I mean, like obviously with bloodlines, you don't know how far down it goes or whatever. So like James Tarkovsky or whatever the fucking the Burnley centre back, bro. That's not an English name, but you don't know how far down that goes. You know what I mean? He might have had grandparents born here and they whatever. But we move to talk about obviously diversity and that as well. Big thing that happened over the weekend was I think West Ham fans did it as well, but Millwall fans on video caught booing players taking a knee. Now, this isn't a discussion that we want to have because this isn't open for discussion. People taking a knee isn't to do with people wanting to be Marxist or doing whatever. It's because they want racial equality. It's not, it is political in the sense that it's for racial equality, but it's not for overthrowing the capitalistic system and rah, rah, rah. But that people have been brainwashed to believe, and it's all of a sudden associated with racial equality. No, if you boo people taking a knee, it goes all the way back to Colin Kaepernick and people even before that taking a knee. It's like, what was the guy's name at the Olympics who did the
Edwin Moses, I think.
Yeah, like
that was somebody else. I'm gonna Google it. One sec.
But it's like booing that. It's not. They're not out here saying overthrow the system or It's just showing that they want racial equality, and the fact that people are still booing it is showing exactly why they need to still do it.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
If you boo it, you are just outright. And like you just either you're so stupid that you can't come to the sense that people are feeding you lies on what people want, or you're just an asshole. You're just a racist. So I mean, I understand people can have this viewpoint of this is crazy to me because I remember when the whole Black Lives Matter thing came about, and it was. Back obviously with the string of shootings and the Ferguson riots and back in 2015, 2016, I think it was, and it became like a catchphrase for just racial equality. And now what has happened with all the riots and came up is that all these people that aren't fighting for racial equality have decided that it's a sign for something that it isn't. Black Lives Matter was just a catchphrase. It was a phrase chanted at protests to show that Black Lives Matter. There is no political party. There is no BLM.
The only issue that came about is that I think it was the leader of the Black Lives Matter party came out and openly said that he was a Marxist, and that's where all of this stems from. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the Black Lives Matter message is a Marxist message, and that's where people get it so twisted. People get it just because one person is something and has said something doesn't mean those two are dependent. They're completely independent facts, and they can be independent the whole way. And Black Lives Matter can be separated from a Marxist man. That's the fact. They're completely individual.
It's just an easy way to be ignorant. Mm-hmm. You can literally just, I don't agree with that. I'm going to boo it. Yeah. I don't have to think anything more than what I'm comfortable with. It's the same thing that happens every year when something about racial equality gets brought up. People find a way to dismiss it, and then it loses its power. But hopefully this year the footballers keep doing it and ignore the boos, and football fans won't be able to ignore what the players are actually fighting for it by just dismissing it with this bullshit, basically. Yeah.
What we need to remember as well is that back in America and the UK with the segregation, when everything started coming together and fighting against it, there were so many boos then and people saying, this isn't right and rah, rah, rah. People trying to dismiss it, but people just kept fighting on against it. And that's the key, is that you just have to fight through all the noise and blank out the noise and just fight for what actually is correct. And I understand that I know I said on the last podcast, you don't decide who's right and who's wrong, but people saying that people who don't want racial equality are wrong. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. Everyone is born the same. That is not. So anyone who doesn't believe that, you are wrong. And I know, and I always say opinions can't be wrong, but that is wrong. Like you are so wrong. So, I mean, I can't, but and I don't understand, and it does make me to see so many white people get so offended by it. it just makes you think, what the fuck is going on? Because as soon as what it is it's like, this makes me, white people are like, this makes me uncomfortable. We shouldn't have to be subject to political or whatever. Yeah, well, racism makes black people uncomfortable, or just minorities uncomfortable generally, and they shouldn't have to be subject to it. So you're complaining because you're having to be subject to people taking a knee and politics, whereas people will have to be subject to being discriminated against. So realistically, you need to get your fucking priorities in check and understand that what you're going through really isn't that much, because you have to watch some people take a knee for 30 seconds before a football match, and you want to go and complain. Like, what the actual fuck is wrong with you in your head? Like, when people have to spend their whole life being discriminated against, I cannot understand it.
Yeah. Shiv, you read it in that book as well, about whiteness. It's the people, it's like a feeling people don't acknowledge until it's attacked, and then even then they don't realize that that's why they're having the reaction. It's like a sense of comfortability in their whiteness. Is comfortability a word? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a sense of comfort in their whiteness that when it's attacked, they don't really even know that they could know what they're doing, or they might not know what they're doing. But when it's challenged, they want to fight out back against it.
Yeah.
And until enough dialogue is had, it won't change, I don't think, because people are comfortable where they are. They don't need to be, like, they don't want to be challenged in that way.
Yeah.
We need to I don't know, it either needs to be through dialogue, through keeping on talking about it. I think footballers have to talk to their fans. The leaders in the club need to talk to their fans, and if they don't agree with them, then the footballers need to tell the people not to come to they're not welcome in the football ground, basically.
I mean, that's what the culture.
It's all hard though. It all comes back to company revenues and stuff, and people end up losing out. Like, clubs aren't going to want to end up losing out on fans' money because their players have told them, well, you don't respect the Black Lives Matter movement, you can't come to our football games. And unfortunately, that's the cold, sad truth. Like, you can't. Everything relies on money, and everything is monetized. So if you're going to do something that could be seen as maybe questionable or have an adverse effect on your income, the money comes first. Political views or human rights issues come second.
I think that's
Ozil to be a prime example. Doesn't get to play for Arsenal anymore because he spoke out.
Ozil's a tricky one. I don't like using Ozil as an example because he's very contradictory in his actual beliefs. Like I said, he speaks out against China, but then he'll twerk for Erdogan and what he's doing in Kyrgyzstan and say it's correct. So in Azerbaijan or wherever it is that they're killing innocent people, I think he's just. Ozil is a fake. He's a bit like what's the one that's married to Nick Jonas or Joe Jonas or Kevin Jonas?
Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah, just a fake ass activist that will support one thing and will speak out against it, but then when it comes to actual their own, like for Ozil it's Turkish or her it's India, they completely support it and they think it's okay. But I think that's another reason why people say that. Obviously, I hate it when people refer to this like BLM like it's a political group. I hate it when they say, "Oh, when BLM did this." No, it's not. Do you know what I mean? I hate it when they did that. That's just a slogan or that's just a movement. That's not a group. It's not a group of people. It's normal human beings that want racial. It's not that say Black Lives Matter. It's not a group. So, but people associate that term with Marxism because the way to stop it is to put money second and look at human rights first, and that's why people could so easily associate it. And I think the Colchester owner did a great statement. He came out and basically said, "Look, if you've got a problem with players taking a knee, get in touch with me, and I'll give you your money back for a season ticket."
Nice one, man.
That's good.
That's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. People in the clubs in Germany did it. That's what people in football need to do. People in power need to say,
Yeah,
take a hit on it.
Fine. Yeah. Come on, man.
I'll take the hit as long as it means that something good is going to come from this.
This is worth it. This is worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but I think the other thing as well, it's like we said that, but when we talk about censorship and stuff like that, is that by outcasting those people from this group, it's only going to make them resent them more, which is a difficult one. It's a very difficult one to say you can't come to our football games because we're going to do this, and it's going to make them resent them more. So it's a very, I think the best thing that could have happened in this situation, although it's very ignorant, is that it got exposed what Millwall did, because now it's in a space for everyone to challenge it and for Millwall to now ask questions about what's going on there, and for them to talk to their fans and try and educate them on what actually it symbolizes. And like, again, like I always find racism and race relations and just general discrimination topics difficult for me to talk about, because like I said earlier, I'm a white cis male. Like, it's just I like, it's obviously it's not coming from a place of experience, but more empathy. So like, obviously,
it doesn't have to.
Like, as long as people are empathizing. As long as people are empathizing, that's good.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just a place of education and researching and doing whatever. And this is the thing, is that like, so when this is the key for everyone, right, to understand that if you hold an ignorant belief, it's not. No one's going to think less of you if you change it now. No one's going to think, oh, well, he was racist once before and said racist shit, but he's not anymore. Oh, what a dickhead! He changes his views. No, people are going to respect it. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, you'd much rather someone change a racist perception than just carry on being an outright racist their whole life, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just admit you're wrong, educate yourself, and admit you're wrong. Like, for example, like when I was younger, I always bring this up. I used to use F slurs all the time because it's what I heard in hip hop and whatever. And I'm not proud that I used to do it, but I did, and it's something that I did do. And now I don't do because I educate myself on it. And you change your opinion. It's just human nature. People learn every day. So just go fucking read. What is it? Why I'm Not Talking to White People About Race. Is that the book?
Yeah.
Yes.
If people go read that, you can probably find a pirated copy somewhere online if you ain't got any peas.
Nah. Buy black people's books, man. Don't pirate it. Buy black people's books.
Sorry, yeah. I mean, I think everything should be free because I'm a fucking filthy communist. But yeah. So no, go support it then if you've got the peas. But if you don't have the peas, if you don't have the peas to educate yourself, if you don't have the peas to go educate yourself, go find a pirate version.
There's plenty of free online sources as well.
Yeah.
Like Code that are at the University of Manchester do free newsletters. And they're good.
It's just important for people to go educate themselves on these things, because people will try and criticize something wrongly because they're not educated on it. And like, I mean, even on recent times, if you want to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and have something to say on it, we don't have to talk about civil rights here. We can talk about just the Black Lives Matter movement. Go educate yourself on where that started and what goes on with it. Because trust me, no one's plotting to take worldwide domination and turn the whole world into a Marxist fucking dictatorship. No one is planning on that, because first of all, it would be impossible. And second of all, they would have to have it in their manifesto before people voted for them. No one's gonna vote. If they did become a political party, no one's gonna vote for them and then go, actually, we lied to you, or we're actually all Marxists. People need to understand that this isn't a conspiracy here. It's just a fight for racial equality. Seriously, people are fucking. And the one thing I wanted to add before I got carried away there is with Millwall, there is no excuse for theirs, because they are well known as a racist club. Like, you can go back to do you remember the video of the little kid who's singing Millwall, fuck 'em all, Millwall in the car, and then afterwards he says, like, he just comes out with the most racist shit, and like, that's not something that he's come up with himself. That's something he's learned at the football. You know what I mean?
Somewhere he's comfortable to be racist at,
Yeah, so that's, he doesn't learn, as teachers don't teach him that. He hasn't come up with that himself. He's heard that from someone else in that environment. So, that is just, they don't have an excuse at this point. And every single argument that they can have can be so easily shut down. And I just hate the idea that white people and it's always the same people on Twitter as well, the one with the British flags in their bios, and everyone knows the exact ones. And they always say, "Oh, we shouldn't have to be subject to it." Well, yes, you should. You should have to be subject to it. Simple as that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I think we've covered that, man.
Yeah.
Let's
I hate the whole argument they had, and I just wanted to, like I said to you two before, I just said we're just going to take some time to absolutely just slag them off, because it isn't discussion on whether they were right or wrong to do it. It's just they were wrong to do it. There is no counter argument to it.
Yeah.
If they
I don't mean to cut you off. I just don't want to give the people with the British flag in their bios slagging off people any more airtime than they already crave.
Yeah. That's all it is, isn't it? That's all it is. They just want some attention, and bro, it's just
we can swiftly move on to Luke becoming Chelsea Twitter.
Shit! No, mate. That's racist in itself.
True. Okay, true. Fine. Football Twitter. Your football
Twitter. I just want to be football Twitter.
Yeah, you're not Chelsea Twitter. You're just football Twitter.
Yeah, I'm just going to start trolling Mike on all his Arsenal tweets. Basically,
that's the thing. Right? I thought we were going to have a great season, and we haven't, and now I'm trying to stay off Twitter as much as possible, unless I am actually just slagging off Arsenal, because I remember after we beat United, I was all over Twitter just bantering everyone, and then we've just lost like 4 on the bounce. So maybe we can do a little bit of a football talk after this break, and then head off.
Europa League is coming home, mate. Europa League is coming home.
Wow, you called it first, man. Here we go.
So shall we talk about football after this, and then we'll head off probably about
go on.
Go on.
All right, we'll take a break. All right, okay. Right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, we're back, and now it's the time for the most depressing part of the segment where we talk about the football. It's basically like the news. To talk about different parts. And now here's Fawaz with the weather. We're going to talk about football. Obviously, this weekend the big game was the North London derby.
Leeds Chelsea, mate.
Bro. But so we'll talk about Leeds Chelsea, because I said I thought Leeds were going to do them, in all honesty. Don't ask me why. I just had a feeling, and then they went 1-0 up in 3 minutes, and that was that. But
go ahead. Good.
Yeah. So North London derby. If anyone didn't watch it, Arsenal dominated controlled the possession easily, but for anyone who's been under a rock, Jose Mourinho was Tottenham manager, so I mean that's expected. When you got Arteta versus Jose, we're going to keep the ball. As an Arsenal fan, you cannot help but watch that and just be completely dejected, right? If that's a word.
Dejected is a word, don't worry.
Yeah, like they had 2 goals from counter-attacks, one of which was Hector Bellerin fucking up and then deciding he wants to stroll back on instead of getting back in transition. Now, I don't know if anyone has watched the All or Nothing documentary or anything like that. The trick is when a team is in transition, you foul them before you can do anything. You foul them. So what I can't understand is Rob Holding, right, was for the first goal backing off Son constantly. Why did he just not go in and put a fucking foot in? Because he's dangerous and they're on the counter attack. I can't understand. Second goal, Hector Bellerin. We have Lacazette with a wonderful ball all the way through to Hector Bellerin. Bellerin decides he wants to try and play a Aubameyang in. Okay, so when you play a cross into a player that's running into the box, you tend to put it in front of them. He puts it 5 yards behind him. They counter-attack and score. Bellerin's got his head down, walking back. Bro, Hector Bellerin, get the fuck out of our football club. Get out. You're shit.
He was your captain, wasn't he? Is he still your captain?
No. I actually love Hector.
No, I want him to go. So
I love Hector just because he's a really handsome man with really good dress ups.
Lovely accent.
Lovely accent. He's picked up like that London twang
Yeah, it's
with a Spanish vibe.
And it's like, oh, it's so good.
Hits
But
him.
other than that, yeah, get him out of the football club.
I see. Here's the thing: is I would say he loves the football club, but he clearly doesn't love the badge that much when he's walking back on when they're on the counter attack. Now, Aubameyang, we won't even get into him. I've said for the longest amount of time, Aubameyang is a player that needs 4 or 5 chances to score a goal because people will ever see him as clinical. He's not very clinical, and he doesn't create for himself. He needs someone there. Whereas I always, as an Arsenal fan, the natural comparison when they're both wearing 14, and everyone likes to bring it up, is Thierry Henry. Now I don't know.
People actually compare him to him.
Yes,
I don't think I've never seen anyone compare him
because they talk about how quickly he can score goals. They talk about how quickly they score goals, and they compare him to Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry is a player that could get the ball by himself on the halfway line and go score. He was something else. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I like him. I like him when he's in form, at least. And I've said this I just said it for so long, and everyone goes, "Oh, you're stupid." Well, I watch Arsenal week in, week out. I watch this guy play, and I can see that as soon as it's not put on a plate for him constantly, that's why he scores so much in the Europa League, because they're shit. Or he did score so much when he was playing because they're shit. That's why he can score so much. He doesn't score in the big. He does score in the big games. He scored in the FA Cup final and whatever.
And he made that goal. To be fair,
yeah. So I can't really say that he doesn't score in the big games, but he doesn't create for himself. The only goals he scored, and this is why people are saying what's happened to Aubameyang. It's because people have sussed out what the fuck we do. We play it over the top of the right back into Aubameyang, who cuts inside and shoots. That's what happens. That was our game plan for the semi-final and the final. So. Aubameyang has been found out very quickly because he can't create chances for himself, and we've got no. I mean, Lacazette. I've spent the last 2 years slagging off Lacazette, and when he plays a 10 role, I think he's very good there. He's got a great pass on him. He can be creative. He's not Özil, but he's not bad because he can hold up the ball and do whatever. He's not a bad 10.
Somebody said the other day that when you have him as a 10. You'd lose somebody else tracking back, and that's probably what you need.
I don't know. He's come deep. He comes deep a lot. He's not too bad for that. People are getting on Thomas Partey's back because
Partey hard.
Here's the thing, right? Thomas Partey went off injured when we were on a promising attack, and he wasn't fit for the game. Bellerin fucked it all up when he shouldn't have, and then he tried to come back on because when he was still injured and re-injured himself. How people are managing to put that on Partey, I don't know. But he shouldn't have been playing in the first place. Willian is just an old man who's awful.
The biggest fraud. Chelsea committed fraud on you, boy.
Oh yeah, and we got him on a free.
Twice now.
Twice.
Petr Cech on a free. Boom. Yeah.
Free time, Louise.
We paid for David Luiz.
6 mil away. Let's go.
Rob Holding is a worse footballer than his footballing ability is worse than his hairline. Kieran Tierney.
Bring back Giroud, please.
Kieran Tierney was a good decent.
Get him back.
Here's the worst part about Giroud. It's my friends back in the day. So people that don't know this, I for a couple of years in college I played basketball, and I didn't really like football. I didn't watch football that much, and my friends used to clown on me and say "Oh, Mike's the type of person to say Giroud's good," and I'd be like, "Oh, nah, he's shit," because I didn't watch football, and I just didn't want to be clowned on. So I was like, "Okay, shit." Once I started watching football again, Giroud is a good player. So you pagans who were acting like you knew ball, you don't know ball. Stop acting like you know ball. Giroud's a good player.
He got Arsenal out of so many holes. He was like equaliser king when he was at Arsenal.
Mate, his hold-up play is incredible. But yeah, a lot of people you just clown me. A lot of my mates you don't know ball. And it's like, well, I watch a lot of football nowadays. I know ball. And judging by your former opinions, you don't know ball. So,
did you go to a high school in America or something? Did you go to somewhere in California? You know ball. I've never heard that before in my life.
Hey,
does anybody say you know ball around Luton, mate? Shiv?
No. Can confirm no.
No, I've never.
So you go kick ball? Play ball?
Yeah, I've heard
I would say I'm going to go
ball,
play football. I wouldn't say go and kick a ball.
I don't know ball, man.
Yeah, I don't know ball.
Hey man, I played ball for 2 years, and then I watch a lot of ball now. Ball can be referred to as any sport that involves.
Bring back Jack Wilshere is what I have to say. The man's doing nothing. Get him back in the club.
I feel for him. He should go to Rangers. There's some talk he should go to Rangers under Gerrard. He's still only like 27.
Yeah, get that easy trophy, man.
And it's just a good place for him to go and like get his career back on track.
Is Scottish football the OG Farmers League? Like,
It's not even Farmers League. It's a pub league, bro. Scottish football's so bad. Fucking Scott Sinclair couldn't get in a championship side and went up there and was the best player in the SBL. I don't know what the fuck. I can't understand it.
I'm joking. All Scottish people are joking. Obviously.
I'm not. I'm not. Your
Shiv can't say anything because the barbershop would roast them alive.
If I speak, then I'm in trouble.
Yes, we go in trouble.
Bro, do you know what? I'll happily come up when I come up eventually, get a trim off you, and then just go into that barbershop and slag off Scottish football. Bro,
I'm just not allowed to talk about Scotland as an international football team, and also Scottish football as a whole. Apparently, I have no right to speak on it, and you know what? I'm going to keep my mouth shut on it. I have my views, and they can remain my views.
Why do you have no right to comment on it? That's like saying we can't talk on Messi because he plays in Spain. What the fuck are they talking about? Like, if Luke's Shiv's barber friends, right? If you're watching this somehow at this point, Scottish football is shit. Scottish football is awful, and you just get out of your head that it's a good footballing nation. You aren't good at any sport. You're not.
Oh nah. They're good at rugby, and they've done well at football.
I think saying they're good at rugby is a real push.
Saying they're good at rugby is like saying Croatia's good at football. I mean, like they're done all right every now and again, but they're not that good.
I know this. They're good. All right. Yeah. All right. They're good.
How do they do this weekend? The weekend before that?
They beat Italy. Convincingly.
Yes. Italy, the benchmark. The benchmark to set all of our teams against.
So just football in general. I obviously I've been watching a lot of ball recently because I've got Now TV and I don't want to waste my subscription because I pay £30 a month. It's a lot of money. So I've been like, and the other thing we need to talk about is Jamie Vardy's homophobic attack on the corner flag. No,
that's where you didn't even get that far. To be fair, it's good.
It needs to go further. It needs to go further.
I wish it got further.
Do you know how funny that is? The people are claiming that. I don't know if the original guy was serious when he said it, when he was saying.
I don't know.
I hope not. I hope not.
That boy.
It is such a fetch, isn't it? It is like such a fetch.
Like
Is Sheffield Wednesday made? He just went there to smash up Sheffield United's kit, basically.
Yeah.
He did the whole like that to the fans last year, didn't he?
Probably.
Like holding the "Can you hear me?" stuff. So he just doesn't like Sheffield United.
Here's a question.
I don't think he likes people.
We spoke about two strikers now. Who is the most underrated striker in Premier League history?
Giroud.
Is he more underrated than Vardy?
Yeah. How many goals he's
scored?
No,
because Vardy's not underrated.
Man. No, everyone knows. If he's underrated, man,
people are blind. Yeah,
people are slept.
I think you'd have to say Giroud or Bergkamp for me. Bergkamp's highly
underrated.
Would you?
Because he's not.
Would you say he's a striker?
He's a 10.
Yeah, I don't know, but like
Nicholas Anelka.
Nicholas Anelka. I was just thinking that.
It's a good shot.
How many goals in the season? In that
Too many.
2009,
22, one golden boot.
Yeah, something like that. Big goals.
Roque Santa Cruz was a big
Santa Cruz was the second one. Mate, you're reading my mind right now.
The Champions League winner, Benny McCarthy. Very sad.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay, fair. Not even thought about that.
Peter Crouch was underappreciated.
Yes. I'll tell you someone else who got underappreciated because of his second half of his career is Emil Heskey. He had a good start to his career. He's in the Premier League 100 club. Like, not everyone makes it there. You know what I mean? But KSI...
you make
KSI
a very good point.
KSI ruined him.
KSI ruined him. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he really ruined him. Yeah, I think there's a lot of
Kevin Phillips.
Kevin
Bolton.
Phillips, Dimi Berbatov.
Dimi Berbatov.
Yeah, he's
top of the list. He's got to be top of the list, man.
That's it.
Dimi Berbatov was different gravy, and like
different gravy, mate.
Like he was different. He was different class. And yeah, I think. I don't know. You talk about a technical player, Dimi Berbatov. He was slow as fuck, but he could beat a man. He was so...
Yeah. He had that season at Fulham where he slowed down and then just played absolute dimes everywhere. It's just spraying it around.
He did the Wayne Rooney where they started just pulling them back. But yeah, Dimi Berbatov, fucking baller. I was watching a podcast called Filthy Fellas. Luke, you watch it, don't you? And they were talking about overrated strikers. And Loon's on there, and he's a Liverpool fan, which says it all. He was like, one of my most overrated strikers in history is Thierry Henry. And I was like...
It's actually so mad that someone could even claim that. It's so mental that someone could ever claim that.
Yeah, I mean, how anyone could possibly claim that the greatest Premier League player of all time is overrated is beyond me. And
that's like calling Shearer an overrated striker. You can't argue with the stats.
This is the thing. Yeah, this is the thing. Some people will try and claim that Shearer is overrated, and I don't understand it.
He's got 600 goals. Has he got 600 goals? 466 goals. 407
in the Premier 260.
Yeah.
But I think career, man.
Yeah.
I think. Of goals.
What do you reckon for Harry Kane? Do you reckon he's going to reach the record?
How old is he now?
27, 28, and he's at 150.
Well, let's work on an average of 20 goals a season for the next 5 seasons. That takes him to 32. He could do it.
I think he will. He's got that.
He could do it.
He's got that style of play.
He doesn't rely on pace. He relies on his technique, and you don't lose technique with age, whereas you lose physicality.
I hate Harry Kane as a person because he plays for Spurs, and last season I thought he was a bit overrated, right? And I'll admit that I was so wrong with that watching him this season. He is a baller. He's
so good.
Probably the best striker in the Prem. He is fucking his ability to distribute has just gone through the roof, and I don't know if it's
doing this weird thing where he's like taking people out in the air though now.
Yeah,
like,
that's
super dangerous. Super sus.
So not cool on
he's not challenging. He's just going underneath them.
No, just going
in rugby, you'd get yellow or red carded.
Yeah. That's it.
And that's in a game of contact sport where that's deemed unfit and dangerous. Why in football are we allowing that?
Do you know who's done that to him? Mr. Mourinho. He wants all his players to be assholes. He wants all his players to be assholes. And I hated Mourinho for a long time until I watched that All or Nothing with Tottenham. And even though he's Spurs manager, I like him. I like Mourinho. He's got something about him, and it pains me to say, but I think Spurs will win the league this year. In all honesty, I think they're going to run away with it.
Yeah, they're looking good for it. They are looking good for it,
because they can really defend.
Prefer not to speak.
So do I. I don't even want to speak it into existence, really. But I said it yesterday because Cal's a Tottenham fan, and he messaged me like, "You're all right, mate," and I was like, "Not really, no." And I was like, "Because I can see you cunts going on and winning this because they have this ability now to hold on to leads where because it's what Mourinho's drilled into them, and it's you just don't want to go 1-0 down against them because you've lost." And
yeah.
Bro, it's crazy.
I could see a late dart for the league from Fulham. Actually, they're up and coming.
Scott Parker,
They're up and coming after this weekend.
Imagine the streets condemnation he'd do if they won the league. And Mike Skinner comes on the pitch, starts rapping. Fuck yeah, boy. Dry your eyes, mate, man. Crazy.
Fucking yeah. So football's in a weird place right now. But basically, we're just going to talk about football now until the Zoom call runs out, and then we'll end it. But I was watching Filthy Fellas, and I like critiquing them because when it comes to talking about football, a lot of them are so wrong all the time. So they were talking about players that need to leave the Prem, and they were like, Ward-Prowse has to leave the Prem. I was like,
Why?
I was like, all right, let's say the justification for this. And they're like, because Ward-Prowse is a baller and he won't be able to move upwards in the Prem because no one signs anyone from Southampton. And in my head, I instantly just started screaming, Højbjerg went to Spurs, literally in the summer. Like, what
are we just forgetting the fact that Liverpool...
Mane.
Liverpool have signed literally every Southampton player in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I can't, like, here's the thing, right, is that people get airtime because they're entertaining, but they just talk some shit, man, about football. And
I could list at least 10 people, I reckon, right now.
Ricky Lambert.
So Ricky Lambert,
Lallana, Mane, Van Dijk,
fucking
Gareth Bale, Walcott.
Oh, you're talking about players going generally big. Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Who else went? I think Peter Crouch started at Southampton, went off to Spurs or Liverpool.
Yeah, early on he was
Liverpool from Southampton. Who else has gone up?
Clutching at the straws now. I am clutching at the straws now. But
either way, not stay long.
Nathaniel Klein.
Yeah, big up. What's his name? The one with the ponytail that plays for Burnley, Jay Rodriguez. Before he got injured, he was meant to get signed as well, and then fucked it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wilshere wasn't. Wilshere was losing
no, he was always us.
This narrative of good players in bad teams can't move upwards needs to stop from them. I don't know if it's not even a real thing in people's opinions. They were like, I mean, like Ruben Loftus-Cheek going to Fulham on loan was a great move, and they said it was a bad one for him. It's not. It's just a good chance for exposure. And to be honest, I think if you've got a standout player in a bad team, it's always worth a gamble, isn't it? Really. Because, I mean, like I said so long, Ward-Prowse needs to be in the England. Well, I haven't said it for so long. I've said it recently. Ward-Prowse needs to be in the England setup purely for the fact that he's a good baller, and from set piece, he is fucking deadly.
Deadly boy, yeah.
Like we said, that. We said that.
Hopefully, Trippier doesn't get another tournament. So we're going to need that.
I mean, Trippier went off to Atletico, and they're top of the league over there. But I just don't know. You just don't hear from him anymore, do you?
Well, apparently he's playing well, so I guess so. But I'd rather see Trent in there. Obviously,
Trent's
Trent's
unreal.
To argue that Trent doesn't get it.
Trent brings free kicks anyway.
Here's the thing, right? Is that there's going to be a genuine selection headache here because Reece James is playing so well. To the point where it's going to be, can you play one of them on the left-hand side or can you push one into midfield? Because I think Trent could play holding mid.
Trent could play midfield. Comfortably. He's got the ability on the ball, and if he doesn't need to work defensively, that's fine.
I would like to see him go in there. But I think Reece James is a better right back defensively than Trent.
Trent's a better option going forward. Trent's a better player, obviously. But Reece James is a good defensive right back. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I feel sorry for him because he's a really good defender. He's a really good. You can't go forward, but he's a really good defender. But obviously, England's left-sided problems are a problem. Like we can play Chilwell, and then we obviously got the two Arsenal boys with Maitland-Niles who can play there, and Saka can play there. But I neither of them are natural left backs. So
shout out, Chilwell went to the rival high school of mine.
Whoa. Great.
Yeah.
Big facts.
Went to Redbourne and I went to Harlington. So there you go. Boom.
Damn player. I mean, what do you guys think about people like obviously Mason Greenwood, Bukayo Saka, the young boys playing over some of the more experienced players? Do you reckon it's worth a shot, or do you reckon we should stick with the experience?
What with England? Or Arsenal?
No, just in general.
I think it's. I mean, you've got to play people on their form, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to keep someone out of the team just because of the name of the person that is taking their spot.
You can't leave Jack Grealish out.
Yeah, but to a certain extent, you also know what these big names can do and can provide at any given moment.
So
it's difficult. It's difficult.
I was going to say Harry Kane, but you can't leave Harry Kane out because Harry Kane is so in form. But here's the thing: is I said this a lot. I said this recently when watching England. I said England play better now without Kane, and I don't know whether they want to, because I don't know if it's a setup and they play with a high press and they have the young boys moving quickly up top. But if they could play Kane in the 10 role for England, that would be fucking, he'd be sick there. He'd be so sick.
Because he'd get back. He'd get back. And he could have DCL or Ings.
That's what I mean. They got the quick boys up top and they are quick because sometimes he can just be a little bit too slow for the way that England play. Because obviously, like I said, it's a completely different setup to the way Spurs play, obviously, because different teams. So yeah, I think England
got two weapons in the box. I'd love to see it. Man,
imagine that though. Like fucking. I mean, I'd probably start Rashford out on the left. Greenwood's going to come up though. Greenwood is gonna. It's hard to deny.
They've still got years to develop. Both like Greenwood and Saka, they're still like 19 years old.
Phil Foden's another.
I think Foden could go straight into that team. I think there's some of them where it's a bit too soon, but Foden is different.
Foden's different. He's so good, and I think
Pep didn't even play him at the weekend. 0 points in my fantasy team. Arse prick, man.
But yeah, fucking.
I'm a 90-point weekend this week, so don't worry about it.
I love the banter United fans. I love to banter them, but Greenwood's someone I won't banter them with because he's just. I always used to. I even though I did banter them a little bit last season. I said he was a poor man Saka, but he is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got goals, man. He's got goals.
He's got goals. Right, Saka's got assists. So Saka could be playing on the left for England in the future. I think there's no question he will play there. Yeah, I mean, like I said.
So you're saying where does Sterling fit into this? Where does Sancho fit into this?
This is in the future, though. This is in the future.
No, okay, no, but like you said, Rashford on the left. Earlier, so I'm just thinking,
good point.
Where do these big names fit into this team?
Sterling would go on the left.
Sterling would play left.
Yeah, and Rashford. Right now, I'd play Sancho and Sterling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You could probably, I don't know, man, because Rash is.
They're all on fire.
A baller, man. Yeah, this is the issue. England got a selection headache because there's so many ballers. Like I've always rated Marcus Rashford, and I don't just rate him because he tries to feed the kids. I've rated him. It was 2016 Euros. I was screaming for him. Or was it 2016? Or was it the 2014 World Cup? When did he come through? When did Rashford come through?
I think it was 2018, wasn't it?
So the same season as Martial,
he's got taken to the 2018 ones.
2016, 2017.
2016, yeah, because Yep, that's it.
I remember he came on last game against Iceland for like his first appearance in the Euros, and he was a fucking baller. And I was like, why did we not play him the whole?
Why did we play him?
So
let's not talk about that one.
Let's not go. Let's not dwell on past things.
3-1 to Iceland. That's a good point actually. It's mad when people kind of talk about Southgate being rubbish. Yeah, he's not the best form he could have got to, but the progress we've had is unbelievable. I would take this any day over the past.
I think national teams.
18 years of my life,
I think national teams. Here we go. I think national teams don't rely on their managers. I think it's down to players because you can't have that many tactics in the England national team because they don't have time to learn them because they have such a short amount of time together. So if you look at players, this is something that got brought up, and I do agree with. If you look at national team coaches. They're players that clubs don't want. I mean, the only one you can say is maybe Luis Enrique in Spain when he was a good gaffer at Barca. But like Mancini in Italy, Joachim Löw in Germany. I mean, Lau's been there for years. No one's tried to come bring him in.
Yeah, nobody's trying to get him out.
Southgate, who the fuck wants Southgate as their manager? All these. Who's the France manager? Blanc. No one wants Blanc. Blanc got sacked from PSG. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did.
So, like, these aren't good managers in the international setup. So, realistically, they're just people there to pick the team sheet and say, go out and play.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think they're good club. They're not good club managers, but it's a different job being a national team manager. You just have to fit into the culture and bring in a culture in that national team squad. And I think the performances come from that a lot, as well as leaders on the pitch as well, like you're saying. But yeah,
I think maybe you're right with that.
Job.
because Scolari had that with Brazil. Really good Brazil manager, not a good club manager.
Yeah, dead Chelsea manager.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think it's
need an episode on dead Chelsea managers.
You've had so many. Here's the thing. I got sucked in a lot because I like Arteta as a manager. I do, but I always used to use the argument that he won the FA Cup while Roberto Di Matteo won the Champions League. Yeah, I mean, so
and he got the sack.
He got the sack in November, so they won it in May. He was gone by November.
Like chop off your trot.
So I need to stop having this thing in my head where, because I see that we've won the FA Cup, that he's a good manager. Like I can see.
Emery won the FA Cup with us. Yeah. That never made him a good manager.
Bro, in all honesty, I know I said we need to give Arteta time, but if this form continues, he's going to go.
Emery had a better record.
Yeah. You can't lose.
Had a better record.
You can't lose like 6 games in a row and be like, let's keep the shit going. Let's go.
We're playing worse now than we ever did under Emery. Even in that worst form of games, we are playing much worse now because at least under Emery we could attack. We can't attack.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fucking crazy what's going on at Arsenal, man. But like I said, I do like Arteta, and I think if he gets given the time to play the football he wants to play and sign the players, he could do it. But it's just a case of, can we give him that time when we're playing that bad to the point where we are looking like we might get relegated? I mean,
you can't give him that much time. You can't risk that, man.
Yeah, I mean that's why Frank had an incredible. Like Frank had 200 mil to spend over the summer. Do you know what I mean? Because of obviously all the hazard money and whatever. We haven't got that. Like so.
How much you spent on Party, mate?
45 mil.
Party, huh? Yeah.
45 for Party and then 27 for Gabriel, and that was it.
That's not bad. It's not bad. How much you spend on Aubameyang's contract?
Bro,
maybe a bit too much.
Maybe a little bit too much.
He's the highest earner at the club, so he earns more than Ozil.
That's probably a good thing.
I've actually rescinded my football fanship for a club this season.
Wow, you're not thinking about going out on loan to another one?
No, I'm just thinking I'm going to embrace the football for the football this year.
Bro, just go on loan to Luton. Just go on loan to Luton.
That's why, That's what I did when Chelsea were rubbish.
Do you know what? Luton aren't having a great time either. I mean, they're doing better than they did last season, so that's a positive.
They're still in the Championship.
Yeah, they're not in the relegation zone right now, but I'm pretty sure I recently saw them get dicked down by Derby. So,
oh dear, Derby is struggling as well.
Yeah, they are. They are really struggling. I can't really go be an Exeter fan because they're just shit. Don't get me wrong. Like they play, I hate saying like the regular season, but it is the regular season. Before they get to the playoffs, Exeter play really well, and then the playoffs happen and they fall apart. So I don't support them. I think they're a load of shite.
Reading are joint top of the league, man. Big up Reading. They're only 20 minutes down the road. I always used to be a May Reading fan because they get to the playoffs and it was sick. So I just jump on the bandwagon, right?
Jump on the bandwagon,
They used to have some real good times. So
many people in Exeter do that when we go to Wembley because they just want the day out at Wembley. And it is a good day out. Sick, It is a good day out. It is a good day out. But yeah, Luke, Shiv wouldn't really know about that because it seemed, I don't think I've ever been to Wembley.
No, Luton have got a lot of promotions.
They got promoted, but they didn't go to Wembley. They didn't go to Wembley. They got promoted, but they didn't go to Wembley.
I've been to Wembley with Luton.
Really?
When?
Yeah, Johnston Paint Trophy against Scunthorpe United, mate.
Huge. Did you win?
2-1 win.
Ooh.
Well, that's a big result.
Oh yeah, I can only dream of that with Aldershot, mate. Well, fair play to you.
Yeah, at least we get the Wembley day out. I mean,
yeah, I'm
to be fair, class day out, unreal day out.
Bro, Wembley day outs are the best. I'll tell you what. Before the podcast ends, I'll tell you the worst Wembley day out I had because we've been there a lot as Exeter fans. We've done conference. Whenever we go up, we've only been up once through automatic promotion. Every other time it's been playoffs, so we've been there a lot. So I can't remember which one. It was the one against Blackpool where we lost 3-1, I think, and Nathan Delfonso played and scored. And I remember the night before I went on a heavy night out, right? And this was this must have been 2017 or 2017. This would have been because I was in uni, and we went on a heavy night out night before, and I got up and I went out and I wore joggers and a hoodie and just like a normal top. And bro, I swear to God, in London that day it was about 30 degrees, right? So we turn up, and I'm there the whole time. We're on a coach, and obviously the number one rule on a coach is you don't shit on a coach. And when you pull up to the service station with all the other City fans, you can't really go for a shit there. So I've been on a night out like before. I'm hanging out my ass. I need the fucking alcapoo right there and then. So I'm fucking a whole day holding this in, feeling like absolute shit. Right, we're going around London, 30-degree heat. I'm sweating my bollocks off, sitting inside Wembley, absolutely dying. City lose. My head's gone. I've got to then go sit on a coach on the way back, still needing to go to the toilet. And then finally, when I get home at 10 o'clock at night, I can go to the toilet. And it was just the worst experience of my life the entire day. I hated every second of it.
Yeah, I've got a good Wembley story.
What's that?
Another bandwagon Reading story. We went when they got to the semi-finals a few years ago. Played Arsenal. They took them to extra time. Shout out Gareth McCleary. That when he scored an equaliser, that's huge, man. That's so much fun. I've never heard. I don't know, but yeah. Shout out Reading. Good memory. And then Adam Federici spilled it into his own net, and we lost. So mixed emotions, but it was great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you're a football fan and you've never been to Wembley, you have to at some point. It's just the best day out, because under any other normal circumstances, just everyone gets pissed up and has a good time. But just that one day will forever stick in my memory as the worst day of my life. It was horrific, man. You know when you're hungover and it's way too hot.
My Wembley memories are like quite faded because it was when I was young, like young. Like I couldn't have been much more than 8 or 9, but like maybe a little bit older. But to be fair, my first ever game was Luton at the mighty Kenilworth against Ajax, with a side that they fielded a side that included Zlatan, Van der Vaart, and there was one other name that I'm certain was Huntelaar. And they went on to win 4-0, and that was my first experience of a football match.
That's pretty sick, man. That's really cool.
Not that at the time I knew any of those players. No. Now it's like fucking awesome. Yeah.
Here we go. Here's one more. Have your club sides ever played Brazil? Because we have twice.
I think we played Nepal or like.
Yeah, we played Brazil. Yeah, twice. We went on a tour of South America and played the Brazilian national team in like the early 1900s, and then on the 100th anniversary. On the 100th anniversary, it wasn't like the proper Brazil team, it was like Brazil, like fucking D team, but they came over and played us on the 100th anniversary of it. Which
That's
is
a sick fact. Big extra facts, man.
Michael Jackson for a bit was honorary owner or honorary chairman or something like that. Because Yuri Geller was a City fan and he wore a City shirt and I'm a celebrity. And the other thing I'll say is we can do this another time, but I want to end it on this, is the West Country Derby. Obviously Derby games are incredible, but the West Country Derby is like, people don't expect it unless you're from here, how crazy it is. So, and one of my earliest memories is going down in the Johnson's Paint Trophy to Home Park in Plymouth. And if you go to Plymouth, you can only go into the away end from one direction. It's a brick wall the other way, so you can't go both ways. It's just one way. And we won 2-1 in the last minute, and they're going fucking mental, and it's all just kicking off. And I said to my dad, I was like, "Can we go now? Can we go?" Because I can see I'm only like 12, and I can see it kicking off. I've seen Green Street a few times. So we walk out, and we walk through all these Argyle fans that are lining up outside doing whatever. And we managed to walk through, and then literally about 2 minutes later, all kicked off, fucking fireworks being flown about at each other. Just people beat the Argyle firm beat shit into old men, just like the scumbags they are. So yeah, a nice positive note to leave the
club. Righty. Yeah, let's do more football, edgy football stories.
We'll do more football stuff now. Now we'll call the Wafflehouse. Now we'll call the Wafflehouse.
Yeah. Got an excuse.
yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this podcast of us again waffling. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, do your thing, comment, do whatever, give us abuse, do what you want to do.
Has anybody given us abuse yet?
No, sadly.
Oh.
So yeah, we'll catch you next week. We'll see you in a bit.
See you later, lads.